The Mustangs football on OUA TV. My name is Tom McConnell. I am joined by Todd McKay, and it is homecoming on the campus of University of Western Ontario. And Todd, well, alumnus and students are gathering here. We're going to have a packed stadium. We're coming home. The Mustangs find themselves in an unfamiliar position, not atop the OUA with a loss 2 weeks ago to Laurier, find themselves in third place behind undefeated Laurier and undefeated Windsor, with just one loss, tied with Queens, their opponent today. Not a spot Western is used to this late in the season.
No, I think this is a good example of the parity that we're starting to see in the league, and there's some great teams at the top, and anyone can lose to anyone at any time on any given week, and that was an example last week. Western went in and did not do what they wanted to do against Laurier. Laurier nipped them. And now we have a situation where they're in third place. But I think going into the bye week, that loss was not a terrible thing. They hadn't lost many games in a lot of years. And, there wasn't quite the same spark or swagger that we're used to seeing from Western throughout the last couple of games. I think going into the bye, that loss probably really recharged them, gave them a little fire under their butts, and I know the coaches were going to press them hard. So, maybe not a terrible thing in the end.
When we look back 2 weeks ago, as the old saying goes, you can't win a game in the first half, but you can lose one. Western down 17-2 at halftime. That was the point differential as they traded touchdown for touchdown with Laurier in the second half. It was just not a well-executed first half. Offensively, they turned the ball over early. Defensively, they weren't able to control Taylor Elgersma and that high-pressure attack, and then the second half found their footing, but too little too late. Today, coming up with a charged-up crowd, they're going to need to establish a better rhythm in that first quarter, right from the first drive.
Absolutely, and we saw them starting slow a few games. That was sort of Western's MO even last year, but definitely into this year, and if you're going to face a high-powered offense like Laurier, you better come out swinging right from the get-go. And, if you're going to knock Laurier down a little bit, you better do it in terms of stopping their momentum and getting to Taylor Elgersma early. They couldn't do it, and Elgersma just rolled the rest of the game.
So as we watch the Queens Gaels take the field, a smattering of their fans have made the trip down from the Kingston environs here to London. One note for the Gaels is that Vreeken, their starting quarterback, James Vreeken, will not be playing today. It will be Anthony Leo. Now, the good news, he's perfect with his completion percentage. The bad news is it's only 3 of 3.
Yeah.
So a challenge. And here come the Mustangs out onto the field for this homecoming game. Led by Evan Hillock, 9 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions on the season. Talking to the coaches yesterday, felt that Hillock, although passed for over 300 yards last week, missed a couple of open receivers, didn't have his best game, and certainly in that first half when they needed to establish a better offensive rhythm, Evan Hillock was just off his game. Had a couple of big plays called back due to penalties as well. There was one, Seth Robertson, I think took him down to about the four-yard line, but a holding call brought them back. So Evan Hillock looking to get off to a faster start on today's game as well.
Yeah, we saw a couple of weeks ago when Evan Hillock didn't have the great start in week 1, they came back and rallied in week 2 and just absolutely decimated the defense. Yeah, every quarterback's going to have off games, and you don't want to have it when you're playing Laurier, obviously, but that was the case last week. But I don't think we're going to see the same thing from Evan this week. I think he's going to be much more on target, and hopefully it's going to show early against Queens.
One injury note in the Laurier game, starting right guard Sebastian Sibbald, who is really starting to establish himself as a great physical presence on that line. Big athletic player, about 6'6", 340, 50 pounds. Went out with a knee injury, talked to coaches, and it looks like he's probably done for the season. He'll be replaced by Simon Smith, who started a couple of games last year and then had a concussion and now back in the lineup. So talking to the coaches, they don't feel they're dropping off too much replacing Sibbald with Smith, although Sibbald was really starting to emerge as a terrific, monolith out there.
The Western coaches can't sandbag anybody because the next up on the offensive line at Western is particularly good and much better than most schools. So it's a first world problem. We call that in coaching.
So here we see this year's inductees for the Western Sports Hall of Fame going in. our teammate of ours, Patrice Denis.
Yeah, Patrice
who was
Denis, great linebacker.
And then captained the year after I was captain, so 1996.
That's right.
Great defensive years for Western football. Won a national championship with both of us back in 1994. And then we see the teams, I think, in 1976 and 1977. National champions for the Mustangs. Their first, I'm going to say their third and fourth Vanier Cups, I believe.
And some legends of football at Western down on that field right now. And, they're still looking pretty spry, and it's great to see those guys out. Those guys are sort of constants around here at Western and great supporters. Even when we played, they were great supporters. And it's great to see them honored because that was a heck of a team. Jamie Bone, quarterback in that team, and there he is in the middle. And, good football.
And I believe maybe the person with the most rings, Nigel Wilson. Who won 3 as a player and then another couple as a coach, perhaps Larry as an assistant coach and then a head coach. But I think Nigel Wilson may have the most rings as a Western Mustang with assistant coach and player on his resume.
Yep, and as a coach for the Mustangs when we were playing here, he was always a great guy and a fatherly figure to a lot of the receiving corps and all the players, actually. A lot of fun to have around, always smiling and a lot of fun.
Anthony Leo is going to be the starting quarterback today. Just his first start for Queens this year, replacing Vreeken. James Vreeken, the starting quarterback, is not playing. Leo, 3 of 3 this year, not much in the passing department. 4 rushes, just 12 yards. So Leo is going to be battle tested. It'll be under fire from the get-go.
But you know what? This guy played at St. Andrews College last year and did a great job there. And I was watching him in warm-up in the end zone. He can throw a ball, and he's smart. So
the running game will be leaned upon heavily. Jared Kazari is going to be getting the bulk of the carries. 4 touchdowns, 6.4-yard average. His longest is 34. The fourth year running back will be leaned on heavily for the Gaels. Force unit on defense, very good for Queens. A lot of veteran presence there, where a number of 4th and 5th year players. When we flip over to the Western defense, it all starts with the man at the back, Jackson Finley, number 30. Leading tackler for the Mustangs. Don't often see that from safety, but it seems like every play on the field, Finley is around the ball. Yeah,
he sniffs it out in a hurry, and he brings the load from up top and fills lanes really well. It's kind of what you want from your safety. You don't get it all the time, but he's sort of the full package, and if you can lean on him to make a lot of your tackles, but also defend the downfield passing game, that's kind of a great tool to have in your arsenal.
I will just say, well, he's the veteran presence making his first start. Seni Adekunle at the defensive halfback will be tested as well. When we look at the Mustang offense, of course, leading receiver, 6 touchdowns on the season, 18 catches, Seth Robertson, right? Had a couple of big plays drawn back last week because of penalties. But if the Mustangs want to exploit Queen's defense, Seth Robertson's going to have to play a key role again today.
Yeah, I mean, 381 yards is not necessarily the league-leading number of reception yards, but 6 touchdowns, and his average is 21.2 yards per catch. So, when he catches the ball, it's a strike, and it's usually paying off in the first down or touchdown.
So we see the Mustang defense now being introduced onto the field, and there was a great article by Ryan Pyatt in the London Free Press on Ryan Bartleson, who we saw just go onto the field. 5th-year player from Australia. You don't see many Aussies playing this type of football. Rugby football, Aussie football, but American or / Canadian football, Ryan Bartleson is a guy who just makes plays out there on the defense.
Yeah, he's tough. And I mean, Aussies are kind of known for being tough. They play a little Aussie footy down there, and that can translate very well to this game. But I played with a gentleman from Australia the years I played here, and he wasn't necessarily the most polished, but a great character, a great athlete, and he came in hard. And these guys come here, and the game is developing all over the world. Australia is a good example of it, especially on the West Coast. And it's starting to transfer, and they're coming over to North America to be able to play over here where football is hot, and he's contributing. It's great to see him as a part of the Mustang crew.
And it's great to see not on a special teams, because we're seeing a bit of an Aussie influx at the college level and at the professional level as punters.
Yeah.
Just with that background in Aussie football, learn to punt properly. Different ball, slightly different shape, but the mechanics are very similar. And so we're seeing a lot of guys from Australia start to come over here at either the collegiate or professional level and become kickers and punters.
Yeah, I was at Ohio State last week watching that game, and they had an Aussie punter, was their backup punter. They think he's going to take over very soon. And he played football and developed in Australia. It's happening, and it's a thing, and I think the NFL and the American game loves it. It's good for business.
And so now we will let you listen to the national anthem with kickoff coming up in 3 minutes here on Mustangs TV. Kickoff in 90 seconds. It's the homecoming game. Western hosting Queens here in the OUA. It is a pivotal battle as Western finds himself tied with Queens right now for third place, and for one of the rare times looking up in the standings. Windsor and Laurier both ahead of them. They lost to Laurier 2 weeks ago. Queens takes on Laurier next week. Windsor and Western will be the last game of the season, and it's going to be hosted right here. Western is on the road for the next 2 weeks. They're going to be at McMaster next weekend in Hamilton, and then at Toronto Friday night of the Thanksgiving weekend. So Laurier is at 4-0. They're taking on Ottawa today down in Waterloo. Windsor at 4-0 is hosting Toronto. Queens at 4-1 is here at Western. Waterloo is at Guelph, and York is at Carleton is the other game. Mac is the bye game or the team with the bye this week. So referees have the captains in the middle. So just taking a look at the referees, Kevin Baird is the referee today. Paul Duncan is the umpire. Eric Giebi, the down judge. Rob O'Shea, the line judge. John Deffin, the side judge. Andre Ledoux is the back judge. Jason Riff, the field judge. And Murray Drinkwalter is the supervisor of officials. And Todd, just before we get this game underway, we have about 20 seconds. London High School football is in full swing. Head coach of the Banding Broncos successful yesterday against your closest rival, the Oak Ridge Oaks.
Yep, our neighborhood rival. It was a great game. Players on both teams had a lot of fun, and I'm happy to say the Broncos are 3-0. But we got a lot of good teams in the league this year. Lots of parity in high school football as well. South CCH sort of amongst the best, and lots of great football action in the high schools around town. So get out and see a high school game if you haven't done so yet.
So both teams getting final instructions on the sidelines. Greg Marshall, the head coach of the Western Mustangs. Steve Snyder, former offensive coordinator here at Western, head coach for the Queens Gaels. And the Mustangs will be receiving the opening kickoff. It is Roman Campanero and Daniel Kabongo, both dynamic returners we've seen take one back for touchdowns each. Kabongo last year a couple times. Campanero took the opening kickoff a couple of weeks ago for a touchdown against Carleton. So it'll be Campanaro and Kabongo who are lined up deep.
Campanaro fun to watch. He is electric when he gets the ball, and for a young'un on this field, he is making things happen.
Tyler Mullen is the kicker for the Gaels. And so will this capacity crowd settles in. Just starting to see, well, the student side has been full now for a while. It is the alumni side with the overflow tickets now getting filled up. Mullen kicks it off, driving it down to Kabongo, who takes it at the 7. Kabongo looking for room down the left side, gets outside of 1, and he's taken down about the 25-yard line, and that's where Evan Hillock and the Western Mustangs will start this first drive. Make it officially at the 24-yard line.
I think it shows a lot of respect to Campanaro. As I was just saying, that they kick away from him, he can be dangerous with the ball. And, Kabongo, he's no slouch either, but they chose him as the target for the first return.
So Hillock comes into this game with a 62% completion rate, 9 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions, and doesn't run the ball a lot, averages 1 rush a game, just 4 rushes over the season for 37 yards. He is, by definition, a true pocket passer. Edwards is the deep back taking the handoff. Edwards looking for room up the middle, skips, steps, and he's through. And Edwards looking down the sideline. And Edwards gets out to the 45-yard line, a gain of 21 yards on the first play. And I know the Mustangs want to make sure they establish the run game early against this Queens offense.
And boy, did they establish it early indeed. That was a great first run to start the game. There was a nice lane inside zone there, wide open, and the offensive line's coming out firing first play of the game today.
So Edwards remains at the back. Masseri wide to Hillock's right. Robertson is inside him. Jamal isolated to the top. Quickly to the outside. Robertson has a pass, hooks up, gets through the first tackle. He's got a gain of 12 yards. Nice little pitch and catch from Hillock to Robertson, and the Mustangs have a second first down.
Yeah, Robertson, their number 1 receiver for Western. All right, 381 yards on the season, 6 touchdowns. Queens knows he's their number 1 target, and Queens knows that Hillock likes to throw those outs in that area, so I don't know if they're going to tighten up or if they're just going to play a little conservative to start.
That play was made in front of London native Keegan Vanek, who has 4 interceptions this year. So here's Hillock. Dasani McIntosh comes in motion. Edwards remains behind him. High snap. And then Edwards can't do anything with it. Gets out of the first tackle. Tries to bounce outside. And Edwards does his best to try to mitigate the loss, but he's still dropped for -3 yards on the play.
Yeah, that's a tough. When that center quarterback exchange or snap isn't good, it messes up the timing and allows that defensive end or some of the defense to infiltrate. That was the case here, and Edwards just could not find a pocket or a lane to run through.
So here's Hillock, 2nd down and long, just from the Queens side of midfield. Looking left, back right, under pressure, rolling out of the pocket. Hillock looking downfield, takes it himself, steps out of bounds. Minimal gain on the play, and it's going to bring up 3rd down, and Oliver Griffith, the first-year punter, is going to come in for the first time today. Good coverage downfield by the Gaels.
Yeah, smart decision to swallow that ball and run it out of bounds as well for Hillock. Nothing was open. His receivers didn't necessarily get off and give him a target to throw to, but I think they realized that he was scrambling at the last second. They got to be a little bit more aware and give him an option as an outlet.
So Griffith with his heels on the 45-yard line. Good snap, has time. Nice high, angling it towards the sideline. St. Arnaud takes it at the 9, has some room down the sideline, but steps out of bounds. So good punt that time by Griffith. And Queens, with a minimal return, will start at their 11-yard line.
Yeah, that punt was great. It hung up there. It wasn't necessarily long. It got to where they wanted the ball placed around the just inside the 10-yard line, and gave their cover team lots of time to get underneath it. Western's done a great job of that this season, and it's shown with with the average number of yards returned on them. It's been much lower than it was the year before.
Talking to Greg Marshall yesterday, he said, with Queens' defense, we very much expect a field position battle today, and especially now where we see Anthony Leo with his first start look for Queens to establish the run game. Here's Kazari up the middle, taking the handoff. He's got about 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
I think any team that wants to try and beat Western will look at what Taylor Elgersma at Laurier did last year in terms of picking Western apart. But tough task for a young quarterback.
I was going to say, is there another quarterback in the OUA they're hiding that's as talented as Elgersma?
I don't think so. That guy's hot right now.
The only one else, I would think maybe Keegan Hall, who we're going to see
we like him at Mac.
Very good quarterback.
Yeah.
And Hillock.
Yeah.
So 2nd and 5 for the Gaels. Rolling out to the right. Leo looking downfield, keeps it himself. Leo's going to get the first down and then steps out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. So first down for the Gaels. Good decision by Leo. And the Gaels moving the pocket to get Leo out of fire.
Yeah, they gave Western a little taste of their own medicine there, stretching that line a little bit. They ran a little bit of counter motion the other way, and Leo was able to take off, looking for a target. Not there, tucked it and ran. He's a good athlete, so I suspect we'll see a little bit more leg game from Leo himself today.
One of the players we just see running off the field right now, Malcolm Fraser, who saw very limited action last week in his first game appearance of the year. Malcolm Fraser was a terrific first-year player last year. So Leo to Kazari. Looking for a little something up the middle, 4 yards on the carry, and it's going to be second down.
All right, the same motion they ran the play before. They just bring that guard tackle across and making it look like a guard tackle counter, and they just pound the ball up inside for 4 yards, not a bad gain. And that game, it's just sort of like you got to keep running it, and at some point you're going to hopefully break one.
So Falcone is a player to watch in the slot. He's their leading receiver with 26 receptions. The other is Nico Quimo, the wide receiver, number 4. Leo with the snap, looking to his left. Passes high. Oh, and then just knocked down. Kojo Adum was there, it looked like. Sene Atakunle looked to be the player breaking it up.
Yeah, he got a little lucky on that one. That one sailed over his head, and if that defensive back wasn't quite as tight to the receiver, that would have floated right into his arms. So lucky non-interception for Queens there. They'll be glad that they're punting the ball away now instead of running to make the tackle and giving the ball to Western on offense from an interception.
So Matt Driver, second-year punter, in for the Gaels. High snap over his head. And Driver kicks it out of the back of the end zone, and it's an easy 2 points for the Mustangs following the high snap. Smart play by the punter using his soccer skills, and the Mustangs will get 2 points thanks to their defense and special teams. And
smart play indeed. 6'7". I walked past this punter on the field when he was warming up. I'm like, wow, you got long levers there, kiddo. 6'7". But yes, good heads up, smart play. Sometimes big, tall bodies like that are hard to get going. He was able to get back there before the Western pressure got there and gladly give up the 2 points.
How high was that snap if he's 6'7", and he didn't even try for it?
Yeah, no.
Wasn't even close.
No, the snapper's going to want to watch that ball in a little bit better next snap.
So the Mustangs with the first points on the board, 2-0, and they'll take the ball at their 35-yard line. Hillock now has Yazbek in the backfield beside him. Back to pass, looking to go over the top. He's got Mohsen Jamal just out of the reach of Jamal. Needed 2 more strides. Looks like Jamal was behind the defender, and it's going to be second down. Taking a shot early.
Yeah, they ran a little 3-by-1 action, isolated the ex-receiver by himself. You're trying to test the Western corner. I thought the Western corner actually had decent position by the time the ball got down there, but just overthrown and not able to convert.
So Jamal makes the trek back, lines up isolated to the left. Mazzeri with Robertson and McIntosh are to the right. Setting up a little screen pass, and it's behind Yazbek. Couldn't quite get his feet set. Was Evan Hillock under a little pressure, and he has to throw it in the dirt hurriedly, and it's going to be third down.
Yeah, it looks like Hillock just wasn't able to find the running back in time before the pressure from the defensive end got to him, so he had to throw it away early before the running back turned around. So, unfortunate. High risk, high reward on that first attempt. Limited what they could do on the second attempt, so they're punting it away.
So here's Griffith. Queens with 2 returners. Nice snap. Griffith, nice kick, turns it over. Back to the 25-yard line. There's St. Denis trying to get outside, and he's down to the 31-yard line. Oliver Griffith, in his first year of punting, averaging 41.5 yards, and has had 2 terrific efforts so far in this first quarter.
I tell you what, Coach Wheeler is a better punting coach in the country. His punters and kickers are always one of the best in the league. That ball always turns over like someone threw it out of a football gun, a jugs machine. And the control that the punters on Western show is just incredible. So another good example. Coverage able to get down there and swallow the returner up early.
So on their second possession, the Gaels will start on their 31-yard line. Anthony Leo, 0 for 1. He's got Kazari beside him. Kazari with the handoff, looking to go off tackle, and Kazari's up the middle, plants his foot, and Kazari has 15+ for a first down for the Gaels. Nice hard run by Kazari.
Yeah, able to find a little seam inside, and the backers had vacated that area, so they weren't there to make the tackle. The tackle has to come from Jackson Finley, the leading tackler. But if you noticed, we talked about it earlier, Dubufor, number 25, correct, is playing halfback today and not boundary corner. So a little change up on the defensive side of the ball for Western. He was in there to help assist on the tackle with Finley.
18 yards on the carry. Double tight end formation for Queens. Receivers go in motion to the left. Western looking to show a little pressure off the backside. Leo back to pass, going over the top, and he's well behind Nico Quimo. He thought he was running more of a straighter post. Quimo was going more across the field, and it falls innocently incomplete. There is a flag on the play, however. So yeah, let's see if someone jumped. Looks like they're pointing against the Mustangs. So
Dubufor was
maybe Leo knew that they had the offside and was just taking a shot downfield.
Oh, maybe a free play. Dubufor had great position and man coverage on that slot, and was right underneath him. And that Dubufor, much taller than the receiver he was throwing to, had great position, walled that ball off.
2 receivers to watch for the Gaels, how involved they get. Logan Walton is a first-year player, number 13. Ashton Watson, number 83, is a first-year player. They're going to rely on their veterans, Quimo and Falcone, for a lot of their receiving yards, I think. Here's Kazari taking a hit in the backfield, bounces off the first player. Kazari looking to go outside, puts his shoulder down. Ooh, and that's going to be a first down. Missed opportunity for the Mustangs. Had a tackle for loss, and Kazari was able to bounce it back outside.
Yeah, he was just able to, he took the ball, and the defensive player for Western, the defensive end, was able to just step into that hole. And, yeah, to your point, the running back bounces off of him and is able to get back. And once flow is moving in one direction, sometimes it's hard to recover. And that was the case here. Western couldn't get to him until the first down marker.
So first down for the Gaels in Mustang territory on the Stangs' 50-yard line, left hash. 3 receivers to the short side now. Moving over to the right is the third receiver.
They don't have an end over there. They fixed that last second.
Kazari on the handoff, bounces outside, slips. Maybe 3 on the play. It's going to be second down.
Yeah,
just lost his wheel.
Queens was lucky to pick up on that last second, getting that split end up to the line of scrimmage. But, yeah, 2 purple jerseys at the edge there. Running back was trying to make a cut and wasn't able to stay on his feet.
So second down, and let's make it 7. 5 receivers in for the Gaels. Kazari's the lone back. No tight ends. They love to use the tight end formation, though. Western just rushing 4. Leo takes it himself and into the arms of Malcolm Fraser. The second-year defensive tackle does a good job shedding his blocker, and it's no gain on the play. It's going to go as a slight gain, but that's as good as a sack for the Mustangs.
Great heads-up play by the defensive tackle there, the nose tackle, able to sniff that out early, get off of his blocker, and get that tackle. Smart play by Leo, actually, pulling it, because with the 30 front, if they're not bringing pressure from the linebackers, there's going to be lanes for him to run there, but couldn't outsmart the wily defensive line vet.
So let's see if they get the snap off, and if Western brings any pressure. Bazzeri is deep, so's Kabongo. Ooh, just took his time. Bounces to the sideline, hits someone's in the leg. Masseri is able to pick it up. It's going to be no yards. It looks like it bounced off the Queen's leg.
Yep, it did.
So no yards on the play.
Now Western almost gets in for that block. Luckily they did not touch the kicker on the way through, since he didn't touch the ball, but no matter, they got lucky with that one.
So nice aggressive play by Mazzari to pick up the ball, get it out to the 20, and it looks like there's going to be no yards in the play as it struck the Queens player in the calf as it was rolling. And it's going to be 15 yards on the penalty. And so Western, decent starting field position at their own 34-yard line. So Western leads 2-0 following a safety on a high snap on a Queens punt on their first possession. First down on the 34. There's Dolby. And Ethan Dolby through the line to the 55. Ethan Dolby steps out of bounds, the second-year player at St. Thomas with a big burst of speed, a change-up, if you will, for the Mustangs to bring in Dolby this early.
Yeah, but Dolby's been starting to get a little bit more play time every game. I mean, it's hard to match that speed. He was a track athlete at Parkside Collegiate and an Officer regional runner. And they run in that split zone there. They find one seam, and I mean, any running back's going to be through. But if you have the breakaway speed like Dolby does, you're getting some yards, and there's a good example of that there.
So Dolby comes out. Edwards goes in. McIntosh goes in motion. Hillock play action. Looking down the middle. Rolls out. Looking for receivers. Drops it off to the sideline. A little high for Dasani McIntosh as he was trying to direct him. McIntosh was able to shed his defender, but it was a little chaotic at the end, and it's going to be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, that was a safe play. I think Hillock might have actually just been trying to throw out of the bounds there, but had he just seen at the last second, the corner slipped. And if he kept it inside a little bit more, the McIntosh would have had a great opportunity for a first down play there, but timing was just off a bit.
2nd and 10. Ball on the Queens 46-yard line. Edwards in the backfield. Jamal split wide to the left. Masseri wide to the right. McIntosh and Robertson looking to attack downfield. Oh, Robertson, it's by him, and it's intercepted. That's John Korskaden. John Korskaden with the interception. Not quite sure if Robertson was slowing up there, but it looked like it was just wide of the target. And Hillock throws his 3rd pick of the year, and the Mustangs turn the ball over for the first time today.
It was actually a good find. It was actually the right throw. Robertson had the inside the zone underneath the safety, and Hillock was just off in his throw, which allowed the safety to get into the lane and grab it. So close one, and just couldn't squeeze the reception from the receiver. So first down, Queens. Washington defense back on.
Best starting field position for the Gaels all day. Their 3rd drive out their own 32-yard line. So receivers in motion. Leo back to pass quickly to the outside. Has his receiver. Ooh, hold on. Nice connection from Leo to Walton. But it looks like there was a time count violation.
That's too bad because that was a nice passing catch, and they had it on the post, and if had he caught that, he could have been gone for quite a few yards. So
as a head coach, it drives you crazy probably. It's the first down coming on the field, and you get called for too much time.
Yeah. You should already know you're playing, ready to call it in and go.
So 1st and 15. Kazari, who's already cracked off a couple of nice runs, taking the handoff, looking for up the middle, puts his shoulders down, takes a big hit at the end. It's a gain of about 7. So it's going to be 2nd down and 8. So it looks like we have a Queens lineman just kind of hobbling around. The right guard, Logan Thiessen, 2nd-year player, is now going to have the trainers come on, and we'll have a backup. Looks like Daniel Sudak will replace Thiessen on the line.
I like what Queens has come out with here. Their offense is sort of, again, giving a little bit of Western a taste of their own medicine, bringing 7 down linemen onto the offensive line, so therefore stretching that line out, increasing the amount of gaps, and knowing that Western likes to run 3 down linemen on the defensive side of the ball, it really puts them in a bit of a compromising position defensively. Obviously, they have to step some backers up to fill those gaps, but you end up with a disadvantage on the line at some point, and Western tends to run that a lot on their offense. So we know that Coach Snyder runs a very similar offense to Western because he was here for many years. So it's kind of a bit of a battle of similar offenses back and forth.
So it's interesting, Todd. We see a do-before look to play the field defensive halfback, and Shaden Bowerbank looks to be the field cornerback, first-year defensive back. Maybe trying to match talent for talent. with the Gaels rather than position. So, 2nd and 8. Leo back to pass. Sets up the screen. It's low. Kazari takes it. Nice tackle in the open field by Max Nixon. The 5th-year linebacker makes a terrific play. And the Mustangs force a punt.
And a great job. They overbalance the field side with 4 receivers, pulling a lot of defenders over and try to hit it backside. And, Western did a great job getting off of that and making that tackle. So, nice defensive series by Western.
So here's Driver in for his 3rd attempt. First one was over his head, resulted in the only points of this game as he kicked it out of the end zone for 2 points and a safety for Western. A little slow on the last one. Let's see if he takes his time again. Oh, not the fastest off. And there's Kabongo back at his 27, and he's got room wide. Daniel Kabongo looking to set up the wall. Kabongo looking to get outside. Cuts it at the 40. Kabongo to the 45, steps out of bounds at the 50. Nice return by the electric Daniel Kabongo, and he steps out of bounds officially at the 52-yard line, about 20 yards on that punt return for Daniel Kabongo.
That was a nice job with the lead blocker there, number 36, Simon King, sort of leading him around the edge, and I'm like, okay, you're missing a block there, you've passed up another block there, but he must know the speed that he's working with and was passed up 2 blocks to go downfield and lead on the 3rd, and luckily not necessary because the Western returner won the edge.
So the Mustang offense unable to get on track in this first quarter. 3 drives, 3 punts. Let's see if Evan Hillick has a different result this time. Here's Dolby on the handoff. Yazbek makes a spin move, and he's got 6-yard. Keanu Yazbek gets down to the Gaels' 52-yard line officially. 2nd and 4 coming up.
Yazbek was actually listed as the number 1 running back on the depth chart today. Obviously, we know Keon Edwards was the first ball carrier on the day, but I love that they have this 3-horse rotation going with the running backs. It's sometimes hard to key on a particular running back if you got 3 of them with such different games.
So only 6 in the force unit for Queens. Now they bring in a 7th. So let's see if the Mustangs stick on the ground. They do. Here's Yazbek, dances his way for a first down. Nice footwork by Keanu Yazbek at the point of attack.
Nice little hop over the defender there to pick up a few extra yards before he's taken down, but for the first down.
Queens' force unit, experienced and big, Silas Hubert, Eric Johnson, Darian Newell, Van Wishart, all 4th or 5th year players. So not much is going to fool them. It's going to be a tough battle up front for the Mustang offensive line, but good so far on that first down. Edwards looking to bounce it outside. Edwards gets by 1. Edwards can't get by a 2nd tackler, and it's going to be a loss of 2 yards on the play as the Mustangs stick to the ground.
Yeah, another split zone run inside, and that gap closes up, so Edwards is just trying to find another gap, but the defense is getting off their blocks and filling lanes, so nowhere to go on that play.
2nd down, let's make it 12. Robertson inside right. He's got Masseri outside of him. Masseri now coming down the line. McIntosh moving out wide. Play action. Hillick rolling out. And there's Masseri on the little bench pass. Masseri bangs his way down to the 25, making the 24. Nice little play. Looks like Masseri maybe on a little jerk route. Goes inside, comes back out. No one came with him.
No, the 2 Western receivers pushed and cleared the defenders out along that sideline, so he was able to find a little room on the 2nd level out there. So that's one of Hillick's favorite passes, as we know.
So 1st and 10 for the Mustangs, deepest they've been in Gaels territory so far. Jamal goes in motion. Yazbek is the deep back. Masseri comes inside in the slot. Yazbek takes the handoff, takes his time, picks his way. Stumbles forward. Maybe 2, possibly 3 on the gain as he gets down to about the 21-yard line. 2nd and 7.
Looks like the defender was just able to get his foot as he sort of snuck and dove through the line. Otherwise, I think there was going to be some room on the edge to pick up an extra 5 or so yards. So, lucky play by the Queens defense.
Well, they mark him well short of where he stopped rolling. So, only a gain of about 2 on the play. 2nd and 8. Jamal to the left, McIntosh behind him, coming now in motion. There and a quick hitter is Yazbek through the middle. Yazbek pops it outside, and Yazbek will have a first down. Nice play call by the Mustangs. And Keanu Yazbek gets a gain of about 10. So that's the end of the first quarter. Todd, a low-scoring affair. It's a high snap and ensuing safety are the only points on the board. And it's the Western Mustangs leading in this homecoming game 2-0 against the Queens Gaels. You're watching Mustangs football on OUA TV.
Let's go, 2 claps and fire. Thank you. Here we go. Is that wide open? All right.
The donors have been a huge part of my journey here at Western and have allowed me to thrive. I am extremely busy between training and practices and classes and volunteering. There's no time or space for a part-time job. It's been amazing what these donors have been able to provide me. Receiving the scholarship, it is relieving and it pushes you in the right direction. Being able to keep my focus and prioritize football along with my academics, not having to pick or choose one. And I just wanted to thank the donors for being part of this team. I truly could not do what I do without you.
Welcome back to Mustangs football on OUA TV. Tom McConnell along with Todd McKay, and the Mustangs hold a 2-0 lead over the Queens Gaels thanks to a high snap that the punter kicked out of the end zone to give up the safety. The Mustangs putting together a good drive, deepest they've been into Gaels territory. Not a lot of offensive fireworks in that first quarter. Let's see if the Mustangs can get their first major. 1st and 10, 12-yard line. Edwards is the deep back. Taking the handoff. Finding room, just not much to the left off tackle. Gain of maybe 3 on the play.
It's just a battle of inside zone between the two teams, just running it at each other. Who can stop who and who's going to break one before the other. Ethan Dobie in the first quarter was the leading rusher for Western, and that was just that breakaway speed finding the gap, but nothing there for Keon Edwards.
75 yards on the ground for the Mustangs on 9 rushes, so pretty good average. But it was on a couple of big chunk plays they picked up most of it. So Hillock with receivers going in motion, back to pass, looking for Edwards out in the flat. Hillock rolling out, looking deep, under pressure. Hillock turns the corner and steps out at the 6. So couldn't find anything, and I'm just looking at Keon Edwards running that pattern. Looked like he had a little, hitch in his giddy up.
Yeah, was it that, or was he just wasn't aware or prepared for the rollout and the broken play? A Hillock smart play hanging on to that because Queens defenders were in man coverage and draped all over the Western receivers. So, had no one to throw it to, so he had to swallow it and get out of bounds. So they're going to step on the field for a field goal. While in the red zone.
So officially, we'll make this attempt for Brian Garrity, who's 6-9 so far, well within his range. As long as 39, his range is outside of that. This one from 13. Seth Robertson is the holder. Snap is back, hold is down. Kick is up and good. And the Mustangs extend their lead to still within one score, though, 5-0. And the Gaels will take over on their 35-yard line. Best drive of the half so far by the Mustangs. It started with a great punt return from Daniel Kabongo that got him close to midfield, and then the Mustangs were able to go about 50 more yards before they had to settle for a field goal.
There's no one's really blowing out any passes or other than the one long run. It's just a bit of a grind game. So, I think Western would probably have preferred to be a little bit more explosive in that first quarter, but at this stage, winning the point game with such a close battle, I'm sure they're not completely unpleased with it, but we'll see.
So Leo on the rollout, looking downfield, drops it over the middle. Tough pass, going against the grain. On a receiver who had to slide. That's Quimo who was unable to come up with it. I think they may have been looking for Kazari out in the flats. However, well covered, and it's going to be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, both receivers were closely covered and didn't give much room for Leo to thread it in there anywhere. So, better to keep that ball short and maybe uncatchable than putting it in there and having a defender slip under the pass and pick it off.
So 2nd and 10. 3 receivers start to the short side for Leo. Looking right, down the middle, drops it off. He's got a screen set up to Kazari again, plants his foot, and Kazari looking to go wide, and Kazari taken down. Good play by Jacob Saunders. Gain of 1 on the play. So the boundary corner comes up and makes the play on that little middle screen to Kazari.
Actually, it doesn't look like it was a screen after all. If you notice, they didn't leak any offensive linemen out. He just sort of slipped through that line. It was sort of that outlet pass just past the line of scrimmage.
Ooh, and was it
got
tipped?
A piece of that one.
I think it was tipped.
Yep. They've been coming after it. And you know what? Western's done a good job of getting there.
Ryan Bertelson, the 5th-year Aussie.
But staying off of the kicker. I mean, all 3 pressures that the Western punt return has put on the punter in this game so far have been very close to getting blocked, but also very close to hitting the punter if it's not touched. So great control by the Western defender, and that time he's able to get a piece of it.
So just a net of 16 yards, and it looked like, Todd, it may have been a shank. However, looking at how the ball, was flying through the air, looked like Bartleson may have just got his fingertips on it. But this is the best starting field position for the Mustangs, leading 5-0. Hillock looking quickly to the outside. Dasani McIntosh, well defended. Tried to do a little bit of a bubble screen to Dasani McIntosh to get him an open field, but well defended by the Gaels, and it's a loss of 1 on the reception.
Yeah, the corner was sitting there waiting for that, was able to come up and attack it behind the line of scrimmage. Good job making a nice safe tackle on the edge there.
So 2nd down and long. Dolby is the running back. Offset to the right. Receivers go in motion. Play action. Hillock steps up to pass. He's going over the top. Caught! There's Dasani McIntosh, and is he in? Is he in?
They're saying no.
Down at the 1, they say. Dasani McIntosh.
McIntosh is saying, I had my hand down and reached the ball over the end zone.
50 yards on the reception. Needed 51 for the touchdown.
Let's take a look at this replay.
So the explosive 1st-year receiver.
Yeah, it looks like his knee might have been down just before the ball crossed the plane there in that reach out, but nonetheless a great 1st down, an explosive play, putting them in scoring position.
So the Mustangs looking to get the first major. Edwards is the deep back. Rancourt comes up under center, and he takes it himself, and the big short yardage quarterback has the touchdown. And it's 11-0 Mustangs with the first touchdown of the game. Jerome Rancourt. His 4th touchdown of the season. And the Mustangs take advantage of the short field thanks to the probable tipped punt.
Well, we know how important special teams are, and there's a good example of it right there, giving Western great field position to start. A quick strike down the field. They've already taken 1 shot early and did not convert. They do convert on that time. And actually, the defensive back wasn't in a terrible position, but that ball was perfectly placed over the shoulder.
So as we watch Garrity line up for this extra point, Robertson, nice job on that. High snap, got to sit down. I'm counting so far 3 plays on special teams that have been big. 1, you saw the safety on the high snap. 2, you saw the Kabongo return, which started the last drive. 3, you saw that tipped ball, which was just a change of possession of only 16 yards. Special teams on a game like this is really being, of high importance so far. 3 plays gone Western's way because of special teams.
And we've seen Western playing great special teams all season so far. Last year it wasn't necessarily one of the better teams, and not that they struggled, but it wasn't as good as they wanted it to be. This year I think we've seen a huge improvement in their special teams, and today's a good example of that showing and the importance that it has on field position and loss or turnover of momentum.
So looking around the OUA, our stats department, headed up as always by Jake Williams. At the end of one quarter, Ottawa with a lead over Laurier, 10-9. And Waterloo is leading Guelph 8-3. So a bit of a surprise in both those games. However, end of just Q1 in both those contests. So for the first time today, we see the horses make a trip around the track. 10:50 to play in this second quarter. Western leading Queens 12-0 in this battle for third place, with undefeated Laurier and Windsor tied atop the OUA at 5-0.
You know what? I'm going to say that maybe this 10-9 Ottawa lead maybe isn't a surprise. I think we saw with the Western game, Ottawa's defense is something else. They're
Fair
formidable,
enough.
and
Yeah.
they can take away a passing game very well.
One of the things, the strength of that Ottawa defense is their pass coverage.
Yes.
Their back end.
Yeah.
They have some real good defensive backs in that team.
Yeah, so if they're giving Taylor Algersma a hard time in the passing game, that's going to pose a bit of a problem and a challenge for Laurier.
Pardon me, Windsor and Laurier tied atop the OUA at 4-0. 4-0. Algersma, according to Jake, 2 picks already in that game. So to your point, talented back end for the GGs.
Now, can Taylor Algersma keep his head about him if he gets down and picked off a few times early?
So slight delay on the field for reasons unknown. Just
the other reason unknown is what that big long lineup is on.
There we go.
There's a big
so we see the time of day is 1:41. We don't know what the time of the game is. So the newly installed scoreboard having a little bit of a glitch right now, showing the time of day and not able to show the game time. Referee's just going to confer on the field, see if we'll keep running time on the field.
But I will say the scoreboard might not be working, but the video board is.
The video board's working fantastic.
It's great to see some commercials right now with Shelby's commercial, so that's an inviting sight.
So we see 15 minutes now on the clock. Hurriedly in the booth, 1 or 2 down for us is where the controls are. You'd never want to be that guy at a game when something technically goes wrong and everyone's waiting on you. It wasn't me.
Everyone's
the computer
looking up to
decided
the
to reboot right now.
Little do they know that the new scoreboard is actually controlled by the little trailer that's down on beside the field, not up here in the control booth.
Someone accidentally tripped on a cord.
So a good crowd here for the homecoming, a good turnout.
As always.
Western leading the attendance in the OUA this year by quite a bit, and this is another good example of why. Great turnout, great support by students and fans today. Lots of purple in the stadium.
So we have the time correct. The score we can probably keep manually. 10:50 left in the second quarter. Western leads Queens 12-0. And the Mustangs, following a 5-yard penalty, I think they took too much time. One of the players, Roman Campanero, ran onto the field late, so I think rather than recook it, Western just took a too much time count. And after all of that, Brian Garrity's ready to kick it into Gaels' possession. Dole is back, and so is Ian St. Arnaud, and he gets it, the first-year player, down to the 20, finds a crease to the 30. Ooh, takes a big hit, and there's a flag on the play. So St. Arnaud takes a big hit, ball's out of the 30, but we have a flag, and it looks like it's going to be a hold. And Queens will start back at about their 20-yard line.
And St. Arnaud, who's actually starting at corner today in replacement of an injured Queens player, 673 punt return yards this year, 19.8 yards per return average, which is quite impressive. So obviously he's contributing early in this season as a first-year freshman out of Vancouver, BC.
So Queens starting deep in their own territory from their own 15-yard line. This is Anthony Leo's first start of the season. Vrieken, the starting quarterback, not playing today. Limited action for Leo coming into this game. Jared Kazari is the workhorse back. So Leo with Kazari beside him, taking the handoff, looking for room. Up the middle, big hit. Minimal gain on the play, make it 4. And it's going to be second down. Looks like it was Max Van Mueldorfer, the big nose tackle, who made the hit on that play.
Yeah, and they just run another little guard tackle counter on that play. And, the Western defensive lineman doing a good job today, as is the Queens the defensive lineman, controlling the
We're
front.
starting to see a little more 40. They started with 30. We're starting to see a little more 40 as we see a player like Malcolm Fraser, great defensive tackle, return to the fold. So Leo, looking outside, has time. Leo takes off, and he's going to be spied by Adubafor, and Richard Adubafor makes a great play. One-on-one with Richard Adubafor, who didn't fall for any of the fakes Leo was trying to sell, and it's going to be third down.
Yeah, Leo was setting that up good with a little hop step there, and he's a good runner. I think he ran a little bit of track back in the day as well, and he can fly. So, but to your point, Adubafor not falling for it. Nice tackle for the loss and forcing them to punt.
I think when you're a Adubafor and you practice against Mohsen Jamal and you practice against Robertson,
when you
whatever move a
best
quarterback is going to give you, you've seen worse than that. You can handle that. Nice, high, punt. Here's Kabongo at the 40. Finds a little crease out to the 43. Good coverage. Great punt by the Gaels. Matt Driver making up for the last one. Minimal gain, but the Mustangs still will get possession at the 42-yard line.
Going back to your point about the Western run starting to run a bit of a 40 front, I think we're seeing that because, when they're in their 30 front, Queens comes out with 7 down linemen stretching that line out. So they got to bring the bigger boys on and try and control the trenches with big on big. So we probably see that a little bit more during the week. During the day, not the week.
So a little bit more technical difficulties with the scoreboard. So the referees will have a little timeout on the field. Next week, Western goes down the road to take on Mac, who really kind of saved their season last week on the road with a late victory. Mac is at 2-3 and sitting in that last playoff spot with Ottawa. York is at 1-3, Carleton at 1-4, Toronto at 1-4, Waterloo at 0-4. So Mac, who had a tough start, has turned around, had a couple wins, and going on the road against a good offensive team.
The best 2-3 team in the country. Like they're a good team, and their quarterback Hall. I tell you, if there's a quarterback that is as good as or near as good as Hillick and Taylor Ergesma. We talked about it earlier. It's him. He can control a game and pick a defense apart pretty good, so he just needs the supporting cast around him to step up as they're starting to do now.
So Dolby is the deep back. Hillick looks over the defense. Dasani McIntosh goes in motion. First down and 10. Play action. Hillick rolling out. Has time. Down the middle. He's got Seth Robertson on a nice play. 20 yards for Robertson as he's thrown out of bounds. That was Ashton Miller-Melanson on the coverage, and Seth Robertson was couple steps on his defender.
Yeah, he had a lot of time to stand back there and throw that ball. I'm trying to see if it was a drag route across the formation with the defensive back not able to keep up, or if it was an out route, but nonetheless, the defender not able to get to him before the ball does.
Good job by the Mustang offensive line giving Hillick that time to pass. Receivers go in motion again. This time Dolby on the carry, has a crease on the outside, and Dolby's through for a gain of about 11 yards. One step away. And there's going to be a flag late. Eric Anderson mixing it up with number 96, the big Andrew Mullings Grant, fifth-year defensive tackle. So let's see what the unnecessary roughness call is. Eric Anderson, who does not back down from anybody, one of the best offensive linemen in the OUA.
And I will say one of the nicest guys in the OUA. But when he's in the trenches, he is a dog, and he is all about protecting his boys up in behind him, whether it's the quarterback or the running backs. And he is a large human being who can push people around. So looks like he might have got a little bit frustrated there, and maybe a little bit too aggressive, and got that penalty. It's going to pull him back. After first down. So.
After the first down. So good news on that. Ball's on the Queens 48-yard line. Lots of motion. Taking the end around is Dasani Mitchell. No, play action. Set up the screen. Beautiful. Keanu Yazbek. Well-designed play. And Yazbek is through to the 30 and thrown down at the 28. Great motion from Dasani McIntosh. Nice sleight of hand from Evan Hillock.
I love this play. Watch this play on the replay here. They fully set up as though they're going to the offense's right side, run a little fake sweep, and then they have just the running back are leaking out, or number 6 leaking out of the backfield. Keanu Yazbek all by himself wide open, faked out the entire defense, able to pick up that first down.
Lots of motion and misdirection on that play. Offensive coordinator Gaetan Richard, well designed on the grease board for that one. Dolby on the handoff, gets through the line, taken down after a gain of 3. 2nd and 7 from the 25-yard line for the Mustangs coming up.
Great patient running by Dolby, just trying to find those lanes, squeezing through, and if he gets that lane and it's open, he's dangerous. You're just waiting for him to pop one.
So the Mustangs, this is really 3rd drive in a row. The Mustangs is able to get some momentum. I mean, they had a drive of 52 yards. They had a drive of 51 yards. Started on their own 42, now down to the 24-yard line. Dolby's the deep back. Hillock puts his receivers in motion. Back to pass, looking quickly the outside. Hillock steps up. He's got his receiver. It's going to be close. Dolby leaks out of the backfield. They're going to say he's down at the 19, maybe the 18 and a half. So let's see how close they are, and it looks like not much of a decision. I think Garrity's going on right now.
You go. You're moving the ball. You're winning the game of field position. You've got the momentum. Just go. Trust your boys. It's 1.5 yards.
So, Jerome Rancourt, the short yardage quarterback, comes in. Edwards is the deep back. Quickly, up under the line. Rancourt looking for room. Steps up. Easy pickings for Jerome Rancourt. Well read. Just everyone blocking down. He steps around the end.
That's what he does. I think everyone in the stadium knew where that ball was going to pop. It was not going to the A gap. It's going to the C gap, where he always seems to slip off, because defensively you're plugging those A and B gaps with your tackles. The outside edge is usually responsible, defended by a linebacker, because the end has the edge. Smart play by Rancourt, and he is almost always converting on those 3rd downs.
So inside the red zone, 3:30 to play in this first half. Mustangs can really put a dagger into this game with a touchdown here. Hillock puts his receivers in motion, looking to the outside, rolling out to the right under pressure. Hillock drops it to the sidelines and over the head of Moss and Jamal. Thought he had Jamal. Jamal thought he was open on the wheel route initially. Hillock couldn't find him. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
Smart play, just throwing it away. Nothing there. You don't want to force it into a receiver and have a defender come and pick it up. When you start to get closer to the end zone, right, the field starts to close in a little bit, and the room starts to run out, and they're in man coverage. So smart to throw it away versus throwing the interception there.
So 2nd and 10, right hash, 16-yard line. Just coming up to the 3-minute warning after this play. Receivers go in motion. Jamal coming across the field. Edwards is the deep back. Hillock stepping up. Jamal on the wide side. Has the catch, and then he's taken out. Think he's going to be about a yard short. So Jamal is going to be at the 8, let's say. Needed to get to the 6. Let's see where they officially place it.
It's
closer than you
close.
think.
No matter, I think we know what Weston's going to do regardless of the final position of this ball. If it's a 3rd down, I think we'll see number 10 coming on again, and there he is.
Wouldn't be surprised. We've seen Rancourt run the ball twice. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Rancourt a little run-pass option here, a little RPO, Coach.
I think we're just going to let the 6'5", 248 quarterback pound the ball in the C gap again.
So you're saying I'm overcomplicating things again.
Keep it simple.
Let the big man run. Edwards is the deep back. Rancourt gives it to Edwards. Has room off the left side. Edwards bounces it out. Puts his shoulder down. Edwards is close. Edwards is in. Touchdown. Keon Edwards.
Well, he fooled us all. He did not carry the ball. He stayed in the shotgun, handed it off, and let Edwards do the work.
From 7 yards out, Keon Edwards, his 5th touchdown of the season. And the Mustangs extend the lead to 18 with the PAT pending. 3 successive drives in a row for the Mustangs. Field goal, touchdown, touchdown, and have really established themselves offensively.
You know, I assume Queens sees Rancourt come on. They're expecting the quarterback touch and go, and instead handed it off to Keon Edwards. And are they maybe not prepared for that play? You got everyone committed inside, and Edwards takes the ball just a little bit outside and able to get that touchdown.
So it's really a tale of 2 quarters, Coach. First quarter, the Mustang offense really couldn't find its rhythm. They were able to get a couple of first downs, but nothing substantial. And then their last 3 drives have been able to, you know, a 13-yard field goal following a 52-yard drive, settled for a chippy field goal, and then a 51-yard drive following the tipped ball on the punt. It was 1-yard run for Jerome Rancourt, and then 7 yards for Keon Edwards following a 68-yard drive. And the Mustangs have really started to establish their attack.
Well, I'm interested to see the halftime time of possession stats as well. In the first quarter, Queens controlled the time of possession 6:52 to 4:53. I think the second quarter is going to be a complete reversal of that and then some. Western just owning the clock and keeping the ball on the ground and churning up the play time, limiting how much Queens is able to do with the ball.
So game within a game, 2.5 minutes left. Queens has to eat up some of this clock. St. Arnaud takes it at the 1. And so he's trying to go wide. Chase down from behind. Gets it out. Nice return to the 25. So it's going to be Queens from their 25-yard line. 2:23 to play in this first half. Need to get a couple of first downs. Not necessarily. They want to score, obviously, but don't want to leave Western with much time to build on this lead.
Yeah, keep it out of the hands of the purple guys right now. We've seen this twice already this season where Western has been able to get the ball back late in the half and make the opponents pay with additional scoring. So don't do that going into halftime.
Kazari is the back beside Leo. Leo back to pass. Steps up under pressure. Gets out of the trouble and then taken out of bounds. Max Nixon forces the loss on the play. So I thought Leo was just going to throw it away, but didn't have time to gather himself. Nice pressure up the middle, and Nixon makes sure he goes out of bounds.
Yeah, and you know, not a unsmart play by Leo, but I think what would have been better is if he had carried that ball like he could have been a throw threat. He tucked it early, which basically green lights the defense to flow downhill hard, and you can actually vacate your receivers in doing so. So had he been holding the ball like he was going to throw it, he freezes the defenders and maybe buys a few extra yards. He probably should have thrown it away in reality.
So 2nd and long. Kazari on the handoff. Up the middle. Takes a big hit. He's going to be about 5 yards, 6 yards short of the first down. And the Gaels will punt. So the Gaels kind of just conceding here.
Yeah, well, you can't go for it here. So unfortunate with the first play. Can't get enough with the second play. Now you're in a position forced to punt. And now you are giving the ball back to Western. And this is where they have been a little bit dangerous this year, except for the Laurier game. So interested to see what Western can do in the last 2 minutes and 11 seconds of this half. Looks like we have a purple player down on the field right now.
Queen's just making a quick substitution or some instructions from the sideline.
It's Max Nixon coming off. It looks like he might have a shoulder injury, the way that the trainer is carrying his arm. I'm familiar with that position. Did that myself a few times in my last year's playing. It could be a wrist as well, though, so hopefully he's
Campanero
not down.
And Kabongo are back. Snap is good. Driver takes his time. High. Nice. Turns it over perfectly. Kabongo at the 30. Kabongo to the 40. Kabongo steps out of bounds at the 45. Nice return again by Daniel Kabongo. Beautiful punt by Matt Driver.
I tell you what, that was one of the prettiest punts I've seen maybe ever. That ball was flawless through the air.
You played with a punter who put on an exhibition once. I'm thinking mid to late 90s. I don't know if you were at the game. Mike O'Brien, who was as talented as a quarterback as Western had, but even a better punter, was at Guelph and put up 60-yard punts, I think 3 in a row. So much so the crowd was looking back at us. What is this? Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Mike O'Brien was a terrific punter. So first down Mustangs, 46-yard line. Hillock gives it to Yazbek. Stops up in the hole. Yazbek drives forward, maybe 3 on the play. 1:41 on the clock. So Western would like nothing more than just even 3 points on the board here to put the exclamation point on this second quarter. Taking their time.
Well, much like we said when Queens had the ball, Western wants to try and get some first downs here and run this clock out, maybe even score, but not to give the ball back to Queens.
So Hillock puts his receivers in motion, 3 to the right. Hillock looking left. He's got it in the flat. There's Yazbek down the sideline, and Yazbek steps out of bounds. First down. Nice completion to the back in the flats. And the Mustangs have a first down at the 45-yard line. 1 minute, 20 seconds left in this first half.
Like to see the replay, like to see if they were in man or zone coverage there. Sometimes in man coverage, that running back is tough to pick up out of the backfield, and sometimes that's a great way to leak out a receiver to make a successful completion. That's probably the case there.
So first down, receivers in motion, way offside. So Hillock has to get rid of it. Throws it away. And so the receivers were on count 1. Quarterback was on count 2, or I should say the center was on count 2. Those Western receivers were downfield by a good 2 or 3 yards.
And the refs caught it.
Usually, good Coach, job. When receivers approaching the line, there's a bit of a gray area, a neutral zone that the referees tend to give.
Yeah, we certainly see that in the CFL, that's for sure. But even here in the OUA and USports, yes, there is a little bit of grace you get. But
maybe a yard.
Maybe.
Not 3.
No. You're not fooling anyone with that.
So 2nd and 10. Yazbek is the back. Maseri is wide to the right. Robertson inside him. Moss and Jamal wide to the left. Dasani McIntosh goes in motion from left to right. Hillock looking over the defense. Gives it to Yazbek, puts his shoulder down, and Yazbek gets over to the 40, 38 maybe. He's going to be about 4 yards short. So let's mark it at the 38-yard line. 45-yard attempt on this third down play if they choose to go for the field goal. And I think with Garrity, they are.
I would
well within the range of Brian Garrity. He's probably good for him about 50 today.
Absolutely.
Gives the coaches lots of information following the pregame warm-up.
And I think the silver lining here is even if you miss, Western's special teams have been covering so well.
But one thing to watch, Arnaud has returned a couple of field goals for touchdowns.
Yeah, right.
Missed field goals, I should say. So Western has to be careful here on any sort of miss. Garrity makes that point moot with a miss, or with a make. Ball is down, kick is up. And Garrity hooks it left. So Arnaud through his hands, looking to set up a return, looking to go wide. And he's not able to get out. So it looks like we'll get a single point.
You're going to have a rouge.
Going to have the rouge.
Interesting. Looks like he just slipped at the last second. All he had to do was get the ball out of the end zone to get that ball out on the 20, but instead slips, gives up the point. And now they get the ball on the 35, so they did it in a little extra field position, but at the cost of 1 point.
So Garrity had good leg on it, had the distance, just kind of pulled it to the left. Is there a reason it's at the 38-yard line?
That's a great question, actually.
Why is the ball on the 38-yard line? That's where they snapped it from. There you go. So he gets the rouge, making it 20-0, 41 seconds left. Leo, back to pass. Has time, over the middle, has his receiver, cut down, gain of 7 on the play. That was Mateo Tiotti with the reception, his first of the game. Second-year tight end. Clock will start on the referee's whistle, as it has. coming down to 30 seconds. One of the things about a young quarterback, hasn't been in the scramble position, the Lightning offense, too many times. Coming from the backside is Bartleson. Oh, and Kazari's through the hole. Western came with pressure. And Kazari, good call by the Queens offense to get it down to the 31. Western was bringing pressure.
And it looks like Queens had a bit of a power play on there, a bit of a gap scheme, bringing the guard tackle across for the block. And, Western's going to be playing a little bit of bend, don't break, trying to keep the ball in front of them and just keep the big shots downfield from getting converted. But that opens up some lanes inside.
Leo back to pass. Going over the top. Has his receiver. Caught. Touchdown.
Nice pass, nice catch by Queens.
First-year receiver. Gets behind Jake Saunders. And just like that, Queens, following the missed field goal, gets downfield in 30 seconds maybe and scores a touchdown. It was the second down play by Kazari setting this all up. Western came with pressure, and Queens was able to take advantage, and it was Walton on a nice catch. Leo dropped that in the basket.
And I watched Leo work down and warm up before the game in that corner, throwing the ball into that corner to his receiver. So they warmed that up before the game, but that's exactly what both teams, either team, did not want at this stage of the half, and that was to give up 6 points.
So with 11 seconds left, Queens gets a little momentum going into halftime. 20-7, and now you wonder if this opens things up for the Queens offense, realizing that maybe Leo, we got to take a few more downfield shots with him.
Absolutely, and I think the celebration from Queens there can really help to inject a little bit of energy into the Queens team just going into halftime. I'm going to ask maybe the referees during halftime why he wouldn't get flagged for a backflip in the OUA, but nonetheless, if you can do it, go for it, because nice athletic play there. And they have a right to celebrate. They just scored on Western.
So maybe it's under the spontaneity rule. If it's spontaneous.
I like it. I mean, let the kids celebrate a little bit.
How often do you get in the end zone, Tom?
I like it. I think it's good.
Celebrate when you get there.
It's not cocky. It's not being arrogant.
It's not excessive.
No.
So Mullen with the kickoff. Kabongo at his 10. Looking for a crease. Kabongo to the 25, and Kabongo out to the 32. 6 seconds left.
And I suspect Western's just going to kneel this ball out, or just give it a simple little carry inside to end this first half.
It's a little bit of a hush has fallen over the crowd following that quick strike Queens touchdown.
Well, there's nothing better nothing more you want to do than come in to an opposing team during homecoming and quiet the crowd with a big play at the end of the half. So Queens has done that. One momentum swing for Queens here going into half. So now we're going to have to sort of game plan at halftime and see what the two teams come out with in the second half.
And Queens will get the ball to start the second half.
That's right.
So the Gaels able to get on the board with a very late touchdown after not much offensive action in the first quarter, just a safety counted by the Mustangs following a high snap. Western was able to get a field goal and then back-to-back touchdowns on successive drives. Missed a field goal on their last drive, settled for the single point, but Queens with 3 plays able to go the length of the field and get on the board very late. It is 20-7. This is halftime, and you're watching Mustangs football on OUA TV.
We got London on the track.
Set the tone and run all game. Wear them down. Will you protect? Yes! How? Will you protect? Yes! How?
I think you do need to put the work in. Persevering through failure, through adversity, is a lot easier with a great support system. My name is Jackson Finley, and I am a student athlete here at Western. I'm studying medical science with a specialization in biochemistry and cancer genetics. My goal is to eventually go to med school. I am extremely busy between training and practices and classes and labs and volunteering. There's no time or space for a part-time job. There are a lot of challenges, and they seem to be changing with every month. Food, tuition, housing, and things that don't even have to do with school. I do find it difficult. Donors are huge in my journey here at Western, and receiving the scholarship reminds me how lucky I am being able to prioritize football along with my academics, not having to kind of pick or choose one, being able to keep my focus on what it needs to be on. It pushes you in the right direction and allowed me to thrive. I feel like it's my responsibility to give back. The Boys and Girls Club is my passion, hanging out with some of the kids, building relationships, and help out the local community. It's been amazing what donors have been able to provide me, and I would love to be a donor one day as well, to give someone else an opportunity to be in my shoes and give back what I've been given.
We got London on the track.
Here we go. Set the tone and run all game. Wear them down. Will you protect this house? Will you protect this house? Protein, 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 protein.
Okay, guys, we know we all need protein, but which one is right for you? Did you know that Diesel from Perfect Sports is Canada's #1 New Zealand whey? And now you have a choice: plant-based Diesel vegan or grass-fed New Zealand whey. Life is complicated, but your protein shouldn't be. Whether you choose vegan or whey, the answer is simple. Diesel is protein. Find your retailer at perfectsports.com. Be great.
Today we're going to be helping style some high schoolers with Under Armour and seeing their personality shine through.
She found her pick.
Let's get it. Style is all about a representation of yourself.
Whatever you feel the most confident in,
It brings out your personality as well.
Let's go, 2 clap to the fire. Here we go. Is that wide open? All right.
I think you do need to put the work in. Persevering through failure, through adversity, is a lot easier with a great support system. My name is Jackson Finley, and I am a student athlete here at Western. I'm studying medical science with a specialization in biochemistry and cancer genetics. My goal is to eventually go to med school. I am extremely busy between training and practices and classes and labs and volunteering. There's no time or space for a part-time job. There are a lot of challenges, and they seem to be changing with every month. Food, tuition, housing, and things that don't even have to do with school. I do find it difficult. Donors are huge in my journey here at Western, and receiving the scholarship reminds me how lucky I am being able to prioritize football along with my academics, not having to kind of pick or choose one, being able to keep my focus on what it needs to be on. It pushes you in the right direction and allowed me to thrive. I feel like it's my responsibility to give back. The Boys and Girls Club is my passion, hanging out with some of the kids, building relationships, and help out the local community. It's been amazing what donors have been able to provide me, and I would love to be a donor one day as well, to give someone else an opportunity to be in my shoes and give back what I've been given.
Protein, 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 protein.
Okay, guys, we know we all need protein, but which one is right for you? Did you know that Diesel from Perfect Sports is Canada's #1 New Zealand whey? And now you have a choice: plant-based Diesel vegan or grass-fed New Zealand whey. Life is complicated, but your protein shouldn't be. Whether you choose vegan or whey, the answer is simple. Diesel is protein. Find your retailer at perfectsports.com. Be great.
We got London on the track.
Here we go. Set the tone and run all game. Wear them down. Will you protect this house? Will you protect this house?
Donors have been a huge part of my journey here at Western and have allowed me to thrive. I am extremely busy between training and practices and classes and volunteering. There's no time or space for a part-time job. It's been amazing what these donors have been able to provide me. Receiving the scholarship, it is relieving, and it pushes you in the right direction, being able to keep my focus and prioritize football along with my academics, not having to pick or choose one. And I just wanted to thank the donors for being part of this team. I truly could not do what I do without you.
Second half kickoff coming up in approximately 3 minutes' time. Western leading Queens 20-7 in this battle near the top of the OUA. Western lost to Laurier 2 weeks ago. Laurier and Windsor are undefeated at 4-0. Windsor taking on Ottawa today and leading 16-13 at halftime. This is critical, if not for that first week bye that goes to the first place team. It's for hosting a playoff game in the second round. That number 1 and number 2, or the highest remaining seeds, will host playoff games in the second round. And Western is hoping, if not for first place, will take second place. Jared Kazari, 89 yards on the ground, was the leading rusher. Evan Hillick, 9 of 15 for 134 yards. Keanu Yazbek, 33 yards on the ground. Here's Jerome Rancourt going around, getting his 4th touchdown of the season. Here we see Hillick to Robertson connecting. Seth Robertson, again, had another good first half, the dynamic slot back. And then we see Ethan Dolby ripping off a nice run, 29 yards. And finally, to cap off the scoring for the Mustangs, it was Keon Edwards from 8 yards out on 3rd down. Anthony Leo was able to direct a nice 73-yard drive at the end of the half into the arms of Logan Walton from 29 yards out, and that made it 20-7 for the Mustangs. I'm Tom McConnell alongside Todd McKay, and Coach, as you said during halftime, that can be a momentum changer. That really, we didn't see much from Anthony Leo. He was, he was okay, but really not doing anything. He was, I think, 2 of 4 for like 10 yards in the air. Hadn't really carried the ball, but on that last drive was connected on a couple of passes, including a beautiful 29-yard touchdown to Logan Walton. And maybe Queens sees a little glimmer of hope where they were down 20, now just down 13, and get possession to start the second half.
Yeah, I think Western just got a little bit soft. I'm going to be honest. I think they got a little bit soft at the end of the half. They're just trying to keep the ball underneath him, and they, to Leo's credit, ends up getting one for a touchdown. But he was still only 40 yards of passing, according to the stats, and Queens 69 yards of rushing. But I think the difference maker was Western in the second quarter had 16 minutes and 35 seconds of possession time by the end of the half. So they really dominated that time of possession from the first quarter and didn't give them a lot of time. And maybe they just got a little bit too complacent at the end of the half there, and they were able to capitalize with that touchdown. And the concern now for Western going in is, guys, you just had them on the ropes. You had them in time of possession, and you let them back in this game and let them believe. 7 points on the board. It's only a 14-point game almost. And, now Queens goes into the half believing, and let's hope they don't come out at the end of the halftime believing we've got to stop this and get the momentum back right away.
So it shows you how much we pay attention to the coin flip at the beginning of the game. Western, who received the first half kickoff, will receive the second half kickoff, as Queens probably wanted end rather than possession to start with.
Well, Western will be glad they get the ball to start this half because, again, this is where you can still momentum back now. So here we go.
So it's Kabongo on the 5-yard line. Wheeling back to the left numbers. Kabongo's got a little crease. Cuts it back to the 30. And Kabongo, nice return, 35-yard line. However, late flag on the carry.
Is that maybe
might be a hold at the end of that.
Hold. It's one or the other. Let's hope it goes Western's direction. But nice return. Campanero leading the blocking there up the field, is able to, get one extra shot for Kabongo to have a few extra yards. But Kabongo's so light on his feet. He's tippy-tappy with his feet sometimes, but, man, can he ever change direction and make people miss? So it looks like the penalty will be going to Western. They're taking it back. Ball set up at the 20.
So Queens looking to build off that momentum. Trying to force a 2-and-out or just a limited possession by the Mustangs, who we thought, Todd, really dominated in the possession game, but not as big as we thought. 16-35 to 12-18. I thought it would be a bigger disparity in time of possession.
Yeah, but Queens in the first quarter had a 2-minute advantage over Western, so Western was able to reel that back in and then some.
First down, Dolby on the carry. Not much, gets it to the 23-yard line, just 3 yards. Western really rolling the three backs, Edwards, Yazbek, and Ethan Dolby. All of them with 33 yards in the first half.
A nice tackle by number 5 for Queens. Liam Sutherland, the linebacker, able to stop Dolby before he's able to get into some space.
So 2nd down and 7. Jamal wide to Hillock's right. Masseri wide to the left. Dolby the lone back. Hillock, play action, rolling out. Waiting for his receivers. Jamal breaking to the outside. Hillock can't find him. Hillock takes the ball, ducks out of bounds. Limited gain, and the Mustangs will have to punt. Good downfield coverage. Just a 2-receiver pattern, and it was well covered by Queens.
It was, and I mean that's the third time that that Hillock has had to roll out and find a receiver downfield without with having to run it out of bounds. And again, all 3 times Western receivers haven't really helped him out in trying to get open, and have just sort of turned upfield to block instead, and he has to run it out.
So Griffiths, nice, high punt, sending St. Arnaud back to his 34-yard line, looking to go wide. St. Arnaud gets around the corner to the 35. St. Arnaud has room to the 55, and then steps out of bounds. Nice return by Ian St. Arnaud, the first-year defensive back who's on the return team. They set out the wide return very well, and Queens starts this drive with their best field position all day.
Well, I tell you what, that play was really started or set up by number 23 for Queens, Aiden Vitt. He was able to set that edge and take the Western cover man out of the play, get the corner, and then the rest was an open field race to the sideline before Western could force him out.
So Leo, who was just 4 for 6, but ended the half with a beautiful touchdown pass, back to pass again, just 3 receivers. Going deep. Back shoulder to Falcone, incomplete. Didn't look like there was great communication. Not sure if he was expecting Falcone to stop up a little sooner, but it's going to be incomplete, and it's 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, no, Queen's taking a bit of a shot downfield, trying to catch Western's defense sleeping a little bit. They got stung with one on their own earlier in the game, so why not take a shot?
So 2nd and 10. Kazari, who had a great first half with 89 yards rushing, including a 35-yard rip to set up that touchdown. 3 receivers in motion. Kazari on the handoff. Oh, big hit. Connor Francisi comes down. And along with Malcolm Fraser, lays out Kazari. It's going to be a small gain of maybe 2, 3. And Queens will have to punt. Looking to catch Western off guard on 2nd and long. But a nice play by Connor Francisi from the end position.
Yeah, no, having nothing to do with it. And the Queens running back, all of a sudden when he presented himself and there was 2 purple jerseys there, I think he's saying, oh boy, put the shoulder down, get what I can, but I'm getting hit.
And we're seeing Malcolm Fraser really be influential in this game. First real playing time we've seen for him, limited snaps against Laurier. Western coming after the punter, angles it short. And then McIntosh, it's going to be no yards on the play. McIntosh looking to go wide. Kabongo looking to go wide. Stops up down the line, taken out of bounds. So Daniel Kabongo gets out to the 22-yard line. Flag on the play. Probably going to be no yards, Todd, as he had invited the tacklers with the bounce.
Yeah, I thought there could have been a bit of a hold there from Western, but it was actually after the flag was thrown in the end, so I don't think it will be, but... nice return by Western. Kabongo, man, he was running there, was able to get out of the reach of a few of the defenders and get some good yardage on that return. Again, very deceptive. He's not big, but he can fly.
So Queens, let me just say, Coach, maybe squandered a bit of an opportunity with a short field. They got what they wanted at the beginning of the quarter, helmed the Mustangs in, got good field position following the return, and then couldn't build on the momentum. The Mustangs, looking to piece together, had difficulty going this way in the first half. First down from the 27. Edwards on the handoff. Gets up to maybe the 30. Gain of 3 on the play.
And that's Sutherland again, the linebacker on the tackle. He's he's not a big guy at 5'10". He's not a tall linebacker in the linebacker sense, but he gets through blocks, and he's probably able to squeeze and sneak through some of these gaps, and he's getting to the backfield, making some of these initial tackles that's disrupting the run game for Western.
2nd and 7. Jamal wide to the right. Masseri wide to the left. McIntosh comes in motion. Robertson comes across. Edwards the lone back. Play action. Has on the wheel, Robertson down the sideline. Beautifully done, and Robertson knocked out of bounds. Great touch by Evan Hillock as Seth Robertson ran the wheel route down the right sideline.
Yeah, I can't believe how slowly that play developed. I mean, he was coming around. The whole world knew he was going around, and then somehow he was just able to get himself open downfield, sneaking in behind the corner. And again, there's number 5, Liam Sutherland, screaming over from the linebacker position to make the tackle.
First down in Gaels territory. Edwards on the handoff, looking for something up front. Puts his shoulder down. And he's able to get 5 on the play down to the 43-yard line. 2nd and 5.
And here's Western starting to chew up some yardage and some again play clock, and just starting to impose their will on the Queens defense. Hopefully they can keep this up for the whole series to the end zone.
I thought Western had done well in that second quarter with a little more misdirection than they've shown earlier in the season. Let's see what they bring on this second down play. Receivers go in motion. Robertson across the formation. Hillock under pressure, and Hillock gets sacked. Queens didn't bring pressure, but it was Darian Newell who had 1.5 sacks coming into this game, and again, looked to be a slow developing play coach.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that Newell is one heck of a defensive tackle, man. He is physical, and he can get off of blocks and around corners, and that was a good example there. He got around the corner and was able to just slip inside and get a handle on Hillock to pull him down. A big bear arm coming in there.
So in the battle of field position, Western gets to midfield, then has to punt, trying to keep Queens deep in their own end. St. Arnaud had a good return last time. Griffith angling it to the corner. Gets a little too much. Ooh, bounces out of bounds. Not bad. Let's see where the referee marks it. Right about the 19-yard line. So inside the 20 officially for Griffith. I believe he had 5 punts inside the 20 coming into this game. So decent punt by Griffith. Yeah, and Queens will start inside their own 20-yard line.
He would have preferred, obviously, to have maybe 5 or 10 more yards on that before it angled out. But again, it's a safe kick, no return, and you just give him the ball in the 19. It's not a terrible spot to start.
So Leo with Kazari to his left. Double tight end formation. Kazari on the handoff. Looks to pick his way. Not much there. Again, Malcolm Fraser bottling things up in the middle. Didn't make the tackle, but he made Kazari change directions.
Yeah, and Von Muhldorfer able to slip off his guy and come over and attack him and make the tackle from the backside there. So nice up front force unit play on the running back to limit the gain. This 40 front seems to be working really well for them so far this game, and they're not allowing too many big chunk runs downfield. So this 43 is working nicely.
3 receivers to the short side. Leo back to pass, under pressure. Does he throw it, or is it a fumble? It looks like it's a fumble. No one has said anything. McLeod, they say now it's incomplete pass. I can't believe they called that. If they're going to mark it a incomplete pass, has to be a flag.
Well, I don't see any any flags on the ground, so it definitely
just
looks like
with a quick
it's
flick
one or
of
the
his
other.
wrist.
Yeah.
So it looks like flag is going to be dropped. There is going to be intentional grounding on the play.
It has to be one or the other, a fumble or a flag.
So again, as a new starter, Leo put in positions hasn't experienced before, have to know what to do when you're in trouble. Where to, the bailout throw we've seen a couple times now where he's held on to it. That time he gets rid of it.
Yeah.
But in no one's direction.
Yeah,
so
it's got to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Is there a choice here?
Yeah, you take the safety.
You take the safety. There's no choice really here.
Although this guy's been kicking it pretty
Matt
good
Driver has
today.
been punting very well. I don't think at this stage it's still a two-score game, and Driver takes a knee.
Smart
So
punt.
the second safety conceded by Queens. The first one was a high snap. This one, thanks to the intentional grounding, and again, going back to the Griffith punt, started out in a not great field position, and Western on the first down play was able to bottle up Kazari. Good defense. Good combination of special teams and defense contributed to 2 more points.
There's nothing better than scoring points when your defense is on the field, whether it's an interception or safety. It's still a win.
8:44 to play in this third quarter, Western leading Queens 22-7. Started out with a safety, added a field goal in the second quarter, making it 5-0, then a pair of touchdowns from Jerome Rancourt from 1 yard out, and then Keon Edwards from 8 yards out. It was 19-0, added a Rouge to make it 20, and then Queens with a late touchdown, 11 seconds left in the first half, 27. Now, 22-7. There's Yazbek on the end. Yazbek has room, cuts it up, cuts back, 50, 45, Keanu Yazbek. Nice run, rip it off 25 yards on the first down play, and the Mustangs are down to the 45-yard line of the Gaels.
That was
slowly starting to see the run game wear down the Gaels.
Yeah, a great run. He had that edge almost immediately. The receivers did a great job blocking at the initial point of contact in the wide open field. The field side was his before he was chased down. And had Dolby been running that ball, I think he would have seen even more yards pulled off.
Hillock puts his receivers in motion. Play action, faking the end around. Hillock has time, lots of time. Drops it off to the side. There's Jamal on the sideline to the 20, 15. Jamal steps out of bounds. Oh, I thought he had an inside path.
Yeah, if he had to cut that in.
But he'll take it down to the 11.
Yep, no, that's a win. Nice play. He had tons of time to throw that ball. When you as a quarterback have that much time to stand back there and throw the ball, you're going to be able to find things. Your receivers are able to open up. If there's man coverage, you're able to get away from your defenders, and that was the case there. He was able to get the ball on that drag across and get him in the flat.
1st and 10, Mustangs on the 11-yard line. Edwards is the deep back. Receivers go in motion. McIntosh comes across. Edwards on the carry, stops up, and then nowhere to go. And you're going to see gain of 1, possibly on the play, maybe half a yard. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Another example of Queens doing a good job stuffing up the middle of that box. Again, those defensive tackles are good, and I mean Western has one of the biggest and best offensive lines in the province, and Queens interior is handling them. So there's no holes there for Keon to run through, trying to find stuff, and that just gives defense time to close.
Second and let's make it 10. Edwards on the handoff, cuts it back. Not much there. Sinks his shoulder down to the 8, and it's going to be 3rd down.
They ran the same formation there that Yazbek got his big gain on, so I was waiting for Edwards to pop it out, but Edwards doesn't quite have the same breakaway speed as Dolby or Yazbek do, so he has to turn it back inside and isn't able to get the amount of yardage he wants. So they're going to settle for a field goal here.
So the ball's officially at the 9-yard line, right in the middle of the field. Garrity, 1 of 2 today, made a 13-yard chip shot. This is from 16. Missed a 45-yarder. Got the single point, though. Snap is back, hold is down. Kick is up. And it's good. And out of the hands beyond a fan. And it's now 25-7. So important those 3 points were, Todd, because 3-score game, although in the Canadian Football League, right? Various ways to score. Singles we see more than in the American game. But at 18 points, your Queens is looking at 3 scores. So I think Coach Marshall in that one playing a little bit safe, perhaps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you really put Queens in a bind there when you start to get into the range of 3 scores to win. And now that shortens up a little bit. It reduces the playbook of what Queens is going to probably have to run. But you know what? Let's just show some patience here and see what you can do with what's been working so far for you.
Kazari, offset to the left. Leo, back to pass. Looking for receivers over in the middle. They cross. Dumps it off. And he's got Falcone. Makes a nice catch around his knees. And then the whistle after a gain of 6, maybe 7 on the play. So Falcone and Kazari on the cross. Falcone does a nice job to get the low delivery, And it's going to be second and short.
And a nice job by Max Nixon, number 3 for Western, to come up and bear hug the ball carrier so he can't get any further upfield. That's tough play for a linebacker way out there.
Nixon was banged up earlier. Looks to be okay. Second and short. Kazari. Does Western bring some pressure? Looking to come off the edge. Leo looking to go over the top. Well covered. Nice catch. Oh, broken up. Nice coverage by Jake Saunders, but I thought Walton did a great job going over the top. And then the ball drops in because Jackson Finley is there to help out.
Yeah, Jackson Finley really is the one that ensured that ball wasn't caught. Otherwise, I actually think the receiver would have squeezed that ball, and Jackson Finley's able to pop it out. I mean, the defensive back had fairly good position there, but that throw was right on target, right into the hands. And
so Jacob Walton, who came into this game with just 3 catches and 25 yards, impressive first-year player. We've seen him make a nice catch and a nice attempt.
Yep.
Looks to be a part of the Queens offense for the next number of years. So here's Driver. Average 39 yards a punt when he connected. Drives Kabongo back to the 10. Kabongo straight ahead. Has some room down the sideline. Kabongo has room to maneuver. He's to the 40. Kabongo through, and he's taken out of bounds in Queens territory. A return of about 40 yards for Daniel Kabongo.
That's frustrating when you have a kick that is that good. That ball must have sailed 50 yards, if not 60. That was a huge kick, and then you let a big return come back on you there. That's like hitting a huge driver off the tee and then flubbing your second shot.
Oh, you know me well.
Well, I was speaking about myself, but frustrating for Queens because they would have had a great opportunity to gain some field position there and give Western a long field to work with. Now they're back to where they started almost.
So Western takes over at the Queens 50-yard line following the 40-yard punt return again. Special teams and the Mustangs winning that battle. Dolby looking to go outside. Dolby turns the corner. Dolby to the 30, 25, puts his shoulder down and taken out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. Ethan Dolby, however, flagging the play, and there's a hold. Evan Hillick is not moving downfield. It's going to come back.
And that's devastating. Again, that's the same play that they ran the last series, and they're just trying to get that edge. And like I said, who better to run that edge than Ethan Dolby, man? When he's in space, he can go. So, unfortunately, all for naught. The ball's coming back.
So the Mustangs go from the 50-yard line of the Gaels to their own 50-yard line. First down and 20. Going back to the punt. Was it a case of, and I know it's often said, but is it true in your minds, out-kicked his coverage? Gave Kabongo a lot of room. And as a punter, you can't stop that.
Well, and no cover team is getting that far that fast, that's for sure.
So, first and 20. Hillick stepping up. Throws to the side. There he's got Sandro Perini on the catch. Perini knocked out of bounds. So, Perini, gain of about 10 on the play. They're going to say the ball fumbled forward.
Yes.
So make it a gain of 12. 10 on the catch, 3 on the fumble.
48.
Yep.
So Sandro Perini came into this game with just, I believe, 3 catches. 2 catches for 17 yards. That's his 3rd catch of the season.
And that's Justin Pace, the linebacker, coming over and hitting the ball, tackling the ball out of his hands. And luckily that went forward and there was no defenders around, so that's still Western's ball.
Second and 9. Hillick back to pass. Sets up the screen. There's Dolby in space. Has a little room to run. Cuts it outside. Dolby has the corner, and he's got a first down.
Great
that was
second
Ethan
and third
Dolby
effort.
Absolutely.
Great second, third effort. There was 2 defenders there, each able to make a tackle. Dolby's able to make the miss, steps over, and he can accelerate when he gets the ball. There's
gets through one
miss
tackle.
number 1.
Gets through a second tackle,
2.
puts his shoulder down on the 3rd defender, and he gets the 9 yards needed.
And it's not like Ethan Dolby's a small guy. He carries some weight, so yes, he is fast, but he has a body that he can bounce off of things. 6 feet, 212 pounds. That carries the load.
Ethan Dolby making the case for more touches. So there's Edwards on the carry. Keon Edwards keeps his balance. Edwards gets about 6 yards. Is that a Western Football 30 DB jersey or jacket I see?
That's a number 20 jacket. And that's,
number 20, right.
That's little Jackson McKay wearing his dad's jacket.
Little is said with sarcasm in your
Yeah,
notes?
I guess so. He's about 6 inches taller than me, so.
So 2nd down and 4 following the first down carry by Edwards. Receivers go in motion. Hillock looking over the defense. Edwards with the carry, has room on the edge, cuts it back. Keon Edwards puts his shoulder down, and he's got a first down to the 20-yard line.
All right, Western starting to roll with the running game now. You know, you can see Queens is starting to walk back to the huddle or walk back to the line of scrimmage. Those defensive tackles, they're tired. They've been on the field a lot in this, in the second quarter and now in the third quarter. Western's offense is owning the play clock, and it's starting to show on the Queens defense.
I'm going to say, Todd, we're coming up on Western getting about 200 yards on the ground, which for the Gaels, that's got to be disheartening. To the sideline, Masseri with the catch. Toe taps down to the 11. The 9. First down, Western. And Masseri, who had 11 catches coming in, but no touchdowns, would like to see pay dirt. I think great punt returner, good solid receiver, but has yet to see the end zone for the Mustangs.
Yeah, nice little catch there, and he just wishes he had one extra step to stay in bounds and just cut up the sideline to the end zone, but it's not meant to be. It doesn't matter. It's a first down, so that's a win. Western gets 3 tries to get it into the end zone here.
So first down from the 9. Dolby on the carry, picks his way to the 4, taken down. Chopped right through the legs. It's going to be 2nd down.
Yeah, that's one you want to be careful with. That looked like it might have hurt. Good thing he's got some knee pads on there. Dolby got hit in the kneecap right with a defensive helmet there, but he pops up. He's good to go, and luckily his leg was off the ground when he was hit.
So we're looking at 160, right? Last minute of play in the third quarter. Queens came in great front, good force unit. But, Todd, I think this Western offense, with Simon Smith inserted as the starting guard, we're at 176 yards rushing, really has reasserted its run game. So, Hillock doesn't like what he sees, takes a timeout. 37 seconds left in this third quarter. Western leading 25-7, but it's 2nd down and goal from the 4, putting a great drive together. And I think, as a coach, you can understand, would be disappointed to come away with just 3 here.
Yeah, you're definitely maybe in 3-down territory here where Western, you know what, maybe they're not going to kick a field goal. Maybe they're just going to take that chance, punch it in on 3rd down, and, try and just absolutely put the stake in the Queens Gaels and just kill their will.
So here we take a look at Dolby, who got that tough first down on the screen pass, gets through one, gets through a second, and then puts his shoulder down right at the first down marker to get 9 tough yards. Hillock, since the first quarter, Todd, didn't really see a rebound from that Laurier effort. He was 1 of 5, 12 yards total, interception. Since then, he's 13 of 15 for 244 yards. Once Evan Hillock gets rolling, he is terrific. So let's see what the Mustangs draw up on 2nd down and goal. Dolby is in the backfield. The up back is Craig Coleman. Jamal wide to the right. Masseri wide to the left. Robertson, play action. Robertson stumbles, but makes the catch. Seth Robertson, the sure hands. On the out. Perfect pass from Evan Hillock. I'm watching Seth Robertson. It just looked like he made his cut, Todd, had a little bit of a stumble. Was able to recover. And Hillock, perfect placement.
Yeah, great control on that catch, able to squeeze it in there and roll out so the ball doesn't touch the turf, and that catch is good. And considering he'd only had 1 catch for 12 yards in the first half, that was a real important catch for him. We're used to seeing him catch these touchdowns as one of his Hillock's favorite targets, and I think he'd been waiting all game for that one.
7th touchdown of the season for Seth Robertson. And the Garrity point after attempt is good, and a fan successfully catches it and punts it back into the field of play. 33 seconds left. And while Queens was looking, I'm not sure, to take advantage of the wind where they wanted the wind in the fourth quarter, maybe? Not sure. The lead has been extended by 12 more points in this third quarter. So out of town, at the end of 3, Laurier has now pulled ahead of Ottawa, 23-13. Guelph has taken the lead over Waterloo, 21-18. So some close games. Down in the Tri-Cities.
I think that's going to be a real defining game, actually, for Waterloo. If they can hold Guelph to that score at this point of the game, that's a real win for them. So, we could see a bit of a shakeup if Waterloo were to win that game.
So after not producing much offense, you wonder if that was just a flash in the pan for the Gaels at the end of the first half, because they've come out in this third quarter, Todd, and the end results have been punt, safety, punt. Garrity, St. Arnaud, down to the goal line, backs into the end zone. St. Arnaud looking to go wide right, bends it back. Oh, takes a hit at the 15, and that's where Leo and the Gaels will come out for this fourth possession of the second half.
You know, and thinking this through and watching this through, I think we've seen some good things out of Leo, and I think he's really done a good job keeping him in there. But keep in mind, as an inexperienced quarterback, though a good athlete and a good thrower, you know, it might be difficult to expect him to control the game a little bit better than we're expecting him to.
Double tight end formation for the Gaels. Kazari, the lone back, offset to the right. Receivers come in motion to the left. That's Quimo and Falcone. Now they go back to the right. Leo looking to go downfield. Has him in Falcone in the slot. Not sure on the first touch, but he's able to secure it. Gain of perhaps 7 on the play.
A good tackle by Saunders. They have Saunders playing a little more inside this week as well.
And I think, again, we go back to matching up, right? Talent for talent. Following Falcone around, following Quimo around.
Right, suggesting that the slots are maybe the better athletes. That's why you have 2 corners playing inside at the halfback position.
There you see a Dubois inside. There you see Saunders inside. So second down and short. Leo back to pass, quickly to the outside, and he's wide of the mark on Falcone. And that is a simple pass and catch that they should have connected on. So that's going to bring up third down, but that's the end of the third quarter. Western leads Queens 32-7, and you're watching Mustangs football on OUA TV. Does this?
We got London on the track.
Set the tone and run all game. Wear them down. Will you protect this house? Will you protect this house?
Fourth quarter, homecoming game. Western and Queens, and the Mustangs lead the Gaels 32-7. I'm Tom McConnell. Joining me is Todd McKay. Next Mustang broadcast coming up October 19th. I'm just trying to think. It's about 3 weeks from, next week they're at Mac, then they're at Toronto Friday night of Thanksgiving weekend, and then back on the final week of the season to host Windsor in what could be a very consequential game for playoff seeding. So Matt Driver back to punt, 42-yard average so far. Driver takes his time, not quite his best effort, as Kabongo takes it at the 50, squeezes, gets outside, and Kabongo looking to go around the corner and gets up to about the 53-yard line. So Daniel Kabongo couldn't quite turn the corner, but good starting field position again for the Mustangs as they're right near midfield.
Well, Queens got away with one on that one. His driver had to reach for that ball over his head again, so that ball was at about 7.5 feet. So that could have been a much different outcome for Queens had that gone over his head.
So the Mustangs will start at the 53-yard line on their half of field. Yazbek is the deep back. Play action, quickly the outside. There's Jamal on the screen, not much room, but Jamal sneaks through to the 45, and Jamal's taken down at the 43. Good heads-up run by Moss and Jamal to find the hole. Well blocked on the wide side of the field.
Well, I tell you what, when Eric Anderson, number 61 for Western, offensive tackle, gets out to that sideline and blows up the edge, that's going to open up a lane for you inside.
Eric Anderson, as you highlighted earlier, one of the best tackles in the league, OUA first-team All-Star last year, probably again this year. Hillick with Yazbek deep, sends his receivers in motion. Yazbek takes the handoff, gets around the corner, and then puts his arm out, steps out of bounds, close to the 35-yard line. Making a gain of maybe 6 on the play. 2nd and 4 coming up, but there's a hold on the Mustangs, and it's coming back 10 yards.
Yeah, he was able to get the outside edge because there was a bit of a hold there by looks like it was number 50 for Western, Philip Cote.
Left guard.
The smallest offensive lineman on the field at 6'1", 287.
Second-year player out of Quebec. So the Mustangs will regroup. 1st and 10 at the Gaels' 52-yard line. Yazbek remains in as the deep back. 3 receivers to the right for Hillick. Jamal is isolated to the left. Hillick. For Jamal on the sidelines. Taken down after a quick hitter. Maybe 5, 6 on the play. It's going to set up 2nd down and about 14 yards.
Yeah, that's a long throw there to throw that field side out to the flat, and it gives the defense time to come downfield and cover that, so he didn't have much opportunity to get upfield.
Up by 25, Mustangs in no hurry as this clock is now under 13 minutes in the 4th quarter. Robertson and McIntosh approach the line, see what they offer. Hillick makes the adjustments. Masseri wide to the right, Jamal again wide to the left. Hillick back to pass. Steps up down the middle. Oh, and there's an interception. Hillick looked like Dasani McIntosh. Are they saying it hit the ground or not? They're saying it's an interception.
Well, let's see.
So Ashton Miller Melanson. McIntosh slipped on that play, and Miller Melanson came right over him.
Yeah.
So that 2nd interception by Evan Hillick today. And, of course, there's no benefit of replay by the officials.
And they're nice enough
in
to
the
give us
OUA.
an extra replay on the big screen here. Oh, that nice play by the safety coming over top for the interception.
McIntosh just lost his footing, and that allowed Ashton Miller Melanson the opportunity. So here's Leo. Down by 25. Kazari with room up off the right tackle. Takes a big hit by Finley.
Jackson Finley laying the lumber.
But not after he gets a first down, though.
Yeah, Dubefore had a hand on him but wasn't able to secure the tackle, but Finley certainly finished it up. Yeah, about the slipping out there, we got a little bit of a mist, a little bit of a sprinkle here in London. It's starting to slick up the field a little bit. Until this turf is wet, it gets a little bit slippery.
1st and 10. Gaels on their 48-yard line. Receivers go in motion. Quimo to the right. Double tight end. Play action. Leo going back to pass. Looking for his tight end down the field. And just ran through Jake Saunders. No flag on the play. Good play by Saunders establishing his position on the field.
That was a great play. Basically what he did is he walled the receiver off from getting downfield. He didn't really necessarily interfere with him, but he just sort of like a little nuisance got underneath his feet, so he disallowed 87 from having that free run down to that ball. Had he not been there, Saunders, that 87 probably could have and would have caught that. So great defensive play by number 20.
And Saunders has every right to be in that space.
Absolutely.
As Teote.
Yep.
2nd and 10. There's Kazari on the carry. And Kazari maybe gets 7.
And now we got a decision to make here.
Oh, I don't think there's a decision to be made.
You're on the 54-yard
Marcus
line,
Robinson, 2nd-year
down.
defensive tackle with the carry. So Kazari's over 100 yards on the day. 3rd down.
Here we go.
I think if you're Coach Snyder, you put the ball in your best player's hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Kazari.
Yep. And let's see.
Unless you've drawn up some great play for Falcone.
And look at the
it's
length
either
of that
Kazari
line.
or Falcone getting the ball here. If not, so Leo Back to pass, crossing receivers, under pressure, dumps it. Oh, and it's incomplete. Great play by the Mustangs. And that's McLeod breaking it up. Thought it was a slow developing play. Receivers crossing, and then just in desperation, Leo gets rid of it. Looking for Quimo, his wide receiver in the middle, and there was a lot of congestion there, Coach.
Well, seven guys on the line. You're expecting that you're going to, run the ball. You got Western bringing some pressure, but they actually didn't bring it. They dropped their linebackers off and was able to get in those passing lanes for those crossers.
Did you think he was a little early? So the Mustangs take over on downs, right at midfield. McIntosh goes in motion. Dolby is the running back. Little reverse to Seth Robertson, looking for an angle outside. Oh, nice fill by Miller Melanson, who had the interception on the last possession. So we're really seeing this reverse motion, this counter by the Mustangs a lot in this game, more than we've seen, Coach.
Yeah, sometimes that just softens the edge up a little bit, right? Now you have to account for that play on the edge. You got to sort of commit that halfback or linebacker to make sure you're there to cover it, and that can soften them up inside a little bit.
So second and make it 8. Quickly to the outside. There's McIntosh, makes one man miss. McIntosh puts his head down, gets to the 45, and I think he has the first down.
I think he got the first down too. Quick
nice
feet.
Little shake and bake by McIntosh after he caught it.
Looks like Jamal was a little slow to get up off the turf there at the end of that play. He's kind of walking back to the huddle.
So first down Mustangs, under 10 minutes to play, up 32-7. Slow start to this game, just 2-0 at the end of the first quarter, but the Mustangs able to get 18 unanswered points, establishing a 20-0 lead. Queen scored late, very late in the first half, but it's been all Mustangs in this second half for scoring. Dolby on the handoff, bursts through the line, looking to go outside. Dolby cuts it up, and again, unsure a little bit on the footing. Thought he could have gone outside, but you'll take a 25-yard gain.
Yeah, you're watching it, you're like, oh, God, just go outside. I mean, in one respect, the corner kind of had the edge, but I thought the receiver had him blocked up pretty good. I think, actually, if he had kept outside, he would have had a step because the DB in the same footing has to go from 0 to full speed to catch him, and there's a good chance he would have slipped. So, you know what, I bet you Dolby wishes, in hindsight, he had bounced it.
First and 10 Mustangs, 24-yard line. McIntosh now goes in motion. Edwards is the lone back, taking the handoff. Edwards, not much there. Oh, stops up, makes a nice cut. And Edwards, that was a good-looking 6-yard run because Edwards looked to be almost taken down for a tackle for loss initially.
Yeah, nice little cut back inside zone. It closes up. He cuts it back a little bit and is able to get a few yards.
Just out of the reach of Darian Newell, the good defensive tackle. So I think that puts the Mustangs very close, over 200 yards. A good statement by this Mustang offensive line. Robertson goes in motion. Edwards on the handoff. Edwards picks his way down to the 15. They're going to be close, but I think they're going to be short. It's going to be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, Western just playing a little conservative running game inside, just trying to run that inside zone and just, again, pound the ball, trying to chew up the clock. And, you know, here comes Rancourt to go for it.
So we've seen Rancourt up the middle. We've seen Rancourt around the end. We've seen Edwards when Rancourt is in shotgun formation. Now Rancourt looks over the line, goes up under center, gets the signal, looks to his left, and Rancourt goes wide. And Rancourt's going around the end. And the big man gets down to the 10. Tough to get inside that long reach of Jerome Rancourt. It was Keegan Vanek, the London native, who tried to bring him down, but Rancourt successful on getting the first down.
You know, and he's pretty good in space for a big man that's 6'5", 240 pounds. When he gets moving, he's tough. And to your point, he's got a long reach to push little DBs off. And, you know, he just got a bit of a shoelace trip up there. I bet you he wishes he had another little go at that and take that into the end zone. But he's happy with that play.
First and goal for the Mustangs, right at the 10-yard line. I don't think they can get a first down. Edwards on the handoff. Taking his time, trying to go back outside, and Edwards taken down. Minimal gain on the play. Again, there's your player, Liam Sutherland, making a play.
Yeah, I don't think Coach would be happy with that run by Keon. Obviously, he has a lot of room here and can do certain things. But I thought the inside zone was there. I thought he had a gap in lane inside, but he ended up bouncing it outside for no gain.
So 2nd and goal. Masseri wide to the right, Mohsen Jamal wide to the left. Robertson's inside him. We're going to see a double tight formation or single tight. H back. Yazbek, the lone ball carrier. Yazbek has it. Takes it down. Yazbek is into the end zone.
How did he get through there?
How did Yazbek appear at the end? Touchdown, Keanu Yazbek. Is that a case of Queens being a little tired and not being able to make the tackle?
I took my eye off the play. I thought it was dead. I know there's Yazbek squeezing through for a touchdown.
We will have to ask for this replay from a couple of angles. Keanu Yazbek just keeps his feet moving.
I thought he was dead there.
Yeah, and no one finishes the play.
Through.
55 minutes into this game, and guys are tired, and it's tough to finish plays. But Keanu Yazbek, that's the benefit of rolling 3 backs.
Yeah,
fresh
keeps those legs moving. And
Garrity with the extra point, and the Mustangs really putting a statement on this game, bouncing back from the Laurier effort. Here's from the backside. Yazbek hits the hole, keeps going, spins off, touchdown.
Yeah.
Each running back, Todd, get this. 3 running backs for the Mustangs, each of them with 65 yards, over 65 yards.
And 3 different styles of running backs, too.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't sound like much, but when you have 3 different types of runners, it is defensively difficult to start to get into a momentum and a rhythm of how you tackle those running backs. One is highly explosive and runs like the wind. The other one is a power back that can cover ground fast in Yazbek, and perhaps arguably the best of them all, Keon Edwards, is a bowling ball that just pounds the ball in there, and you got to be ready to shift gears and change your acceleration rate as a defender to tackle 3 different types of running backs.
So Queens was unable to take advantage of the interception, turn it over on downs, and the Mustangs march down 50-plus yards and get another major. Oh, there's Falcone. Can't come up with the kick return. Falcone looking to go wide. Spins around, but Falcone's taken down. Well, they're making it at the 9-yard line. Did not start out well for Falcone on that as he fumbled the kickoff and then had to recover. And if I look down 5 or 6 rows, Todd, there is a custom Falcone jacket.
Oh, there is. So, yes, that is right. Wonder if that's a Letterman jacket from a high school. He's from Palgrave, Ontario. Not sure where that is. I'm sure Google will tell me.
So Leo, with Kazari beside him, they start from the 9-yard line. Looking outside, quick on the screen pass. Oh, and a Dubofor.
Oh, he was on
throws him down. Falcone gets a loss of 3. A Dubofor read that play perfectly, and it's a loss on the completion. Boy, this change-up where a Dubofor and Saunders are covering more in the slot has really negated any Queens passing attack today.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think I like Dubofor better inside than I do outside. He's made a lot of plays today, and he's been instrumental in cutting off a lot of gains on that edge. I wonder if they'll consider this down the road, if they have someone outside that can do the job in Saunders and the other corner, that's...
So Leo back to pass. Into the slot. Nice completion. There's Falcone. Gets a first down. So nice throw by Leo as he stood in the pocket and he found Falcone on the deep end. Looked like Ryan Bertelson just couldn't get his hand in there.
Yeah, just slipped inside of him when the ball was thrown. He wasn't able to get there in time.
Coming up to 4 minutes to play in this 4th quarter. Mustangs would love to keep the Gaels in single digits. Here's the handoff. Kazari, nowhere to go. Gain of about 2, maybe 3 on the play. 2nd down and 7 coming up. Not much depth behind Kazari. 2 first-year running backs, Ethan Dahl and Jaden Gursey McDonald. Neither have seen many carries this year so far. So Kazari looks like he's going to stay in almost to the bitter end. Leo, back to pass, 2nd and 7. Drops it off to Kazari. Oh, right through the legs. Good tackle by Jake Saunders, and it's going to be short by about 4 yards. 3rd down coming up. And again, we see Jake Saunders making another play.
Yeah, Kazari's the running back, slips through the middle of the line and runs that out route, so no one's really accounted for him in the scheme, but Saunders in the zone is able to come up and make the tackle. Definitely bigger than Saunders in terms of size, so nice tackle by him, taking him down low.
So Campanaro and Kabongo are back. Kabongo's had a very good game. 5 returns for 135 yards. Here's Driver. A little bit of a wobbler. No, that's Campanaro. Oh, takes it, steps out of bounds immediately. No return on the play. And so the Mustangs, with 3:08 to play, are going to start this drive at the 42-yard line. And are we going to see Rancourt? And we are. Jerome Rancourt will come in to finish this game. 5 minutes to go. Down in Waterloo. Laurier leads by just 6 points. Ottawa has the ball. So a good finish down in Waterloo, and what would clearly make the top of the OUA crazy if Ottawa pulls off an upset. Rancourt with 3 receivers to his right. Marcel Phillips is the running back, taking the handoff. Here's your 4th back to carry the ball. Phillips, though, just 3 yards on his first touch of the afternoon.
And Phillips isn't a slouch either. This guy's explosive. We saw that early in the season when he had a couple
Phillips is starting or is the 2-back at probably every other school.
Yeah, he's got some wheels.
Yeah.
And he's not a big guy. He's easy to miss when you're trying to make tackles on him.
So 2nd down, close to 7. Need less than 8. And there is a player down on the field. Eric Johnson, 4th-year defensive tackle, being looked at by the training staff. And this is a game, Queens came in, a lot of momentum, thought they, would present Western with a lot of challenges defensively. But I think the Mustangs' offensive line has just done a terrific job.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Hillock get a little pressure, maybe once or twice, but he's had time to throw. When he's rolled outside of the pocket, to escape the pressure, he's been able to relieve it. But the running game, getting over 200 yards, has really ground down this defense.
Yeah, 3 running backs are able to share the load, and, that keeps legs fresh. And when you compare that to what Queens has had to do, they've had one guy carry most of the load. And that wears you down too eventually. You're not getting quite the same explosiveness, not quite the same, yards after first contact. It makes a big difference. And again, I think the number one, thing to take a look at is the fact that Vreeken, Queens' sort of stalwart number 1 starter, we found out last night when we got their rosters that he wasn't playing today. We knew that was going to change things immediately. But, I will say the young quarterback from Queens has done a good job. The best he can do trying to stay in this game. He's had some flashes of brilliance. He's an athletic kid that can throw the ball really well. I think he's going to do well going forward, and he might have to do that for the rest of the year depending on the injury to Vreeken and how serious it is.
So Johnson walking off very gingerly.
Yeah, very gingerly.
You're hoping it's not serious. Maybe it's just a turned ankle, but doesn't look great. At least getting assistance from coach and teammates. So Rancourt, it's going to be at least a minute before you snap the ball by the pace Johnson's going in.
Yeah.
Western was ready to go.
Western's ready to go. Rancourt's up under center, and the injured player hadn't even got to the numbers yet on his way to the sideline.
So next week, Western on the road taking on Mac. Mac is off this week, 2-3. Needs to pile up a couple of wins to get that final playoff spot. So big game for Mac. Western will have a target on its back again. 2nd down, Rancourt looking to run. Puts his shoulder down, big hit, and where do they mark it? It's going to be short.
Nice job by the freshman Ian St. Arnaud. The freshman corner coming up and taking on Rancourt. Bit of a size difference there. Again, Arnaud, 6 foot, 177 pounds. He loses in the game of physics to Rancourt, but nice job tackling him on the edge.
You would think he would lose more than he did. That was a nice hit.
It sure was.
Yeah. So 3rd and 1. Phillips is the deep back. 3 receivers to the short field. Rancourt puts him in motion. Phillips on the handoff. Gets through the first down. So a nice little gain by Marcel Phillips in the crease. And it's going to be first down Mustangs. This clock will continue to roll as we come up to 2:07 to play in this game.
Man, he's quick. Watching that replay, he takes that ball and goes 100 miles an hour immediately.
So again, a 4th different style of running back.
Yeah. Probably the
Where
most.
Dolby probably has that all-out speed.
Yeah, he's more
Phillips
of a
has
scat
that
back. Phillips.
instant acceleration.
Yep.
So Laurier scored late, making it 32-20. Phillips looking for room. Taken down after a minimal gain of 3.
Yazbek sort of. Phillips sort of folded up awkwardly there on the tackle. Just sort of got tackled over top of one of his own linemen. Luckily, he looks like he's fairly Gumby in his youthfulness, so he's able to pop up and get back into the huddle.
Guelph leads Waterloo at the end of 3, 28-18. Guelph is looking to make a return to the playoffs after missing out on the last 2 seasons. Look like they've established a much more dynamic offense for the Griffins this year.
Well, new coaching staff, and they're doing some good things there in Guelph, so I think we'll see the results.
2nd and 8. Phillips getting through, not much. Gain of 2 on the play. And so we see a number of players at this stage of the game picking themselves up late.
Yeah. This is where you just stay in the game.
Reed Colucci and Phil Cote.
Yeah. Maybe we put some backup linemen in and keep everyone healthy at this point. Yeah,
so here's Griffith, who's averaged 44.5 yards a punt on 4 efforts. Longest is 54 yards. High snap. Griffith slips. Let's see what he does. Falls on the ball. Not sure I would have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one where you don't know what you're doing because you've never experienced. I think that's a case where what we saw Driver did earlier, kick it out as quick as possible or get it and punt it out of your end zone. He had time.
I don't think the punt was an option. He wasn't, at best he would have been able to kick that in.
Not punting.
Yeah,
I think punting it Queensway.
Yeah, just kick
punt it through your own end zone.
Take the 2 and
because now you're giving Queens
an
extremely short field at the 20. And Western's defense has been very good.
Well, this is a good test for Western's defense here at the end of the game.
So Leo with 1:04 left. Kazari on the handoff. Gets 3, maybe 4 on the play.
That's Keenan Truffin coming up for the tackle there, flying in from the backfield to clean it up. Nice aggressive play by the backup linebacker.
So Leo getting the call from the sidelines. Queens doesn't seem to be in much of a rush. I know the game is over, Coach, obviously. However, I think you'd want to, maybe get some stats, maybe get a touchdown for Kazari. Under pressure, Leo drops it over the middle. Falcone caught, touchdown. Flag in the play, targeting. So 38 seconds left, and there's a mistake. At the end of the game, high snap. Punter has not been in that situation before. It's not ultimately going to mean anything in the game, but something that the Mustangs would have handled completely different given a second chance.
Yeah, and good for Leo to get a throwing touchdown in there towards the end of the game. Again, I think that's good for a young developing quarterback, but those are important tests for your seconds on the defense to ensure that you can keep the ball out of the end zone down at the end of the game when the offense is facing an opportunity to score. So, lessons and learning for both teams. Interested to know what the penalty was there that was thrown. I don't think it was a targeting based on the replay of that play. It looks like a couple bodies just sort of came in out of control.
So 38 seconds left. Tyler Mullen in for his second extra point of the game. Snap is low, but the hold is down. Kick is up and good. Oh, and through the hands of the fan at the back of the track.
Alex going for the ball.
Context would tell you that's what.
So a bit of uncertainty on what the penalty was there at the during the touchdown. It looks like the penalty will be put on the kickoff.
So Mustangs on the road next weekend in Hamilton taking on Mac. Then Friday night, the 11th, in Toronto, Thanksgiving weekend, taking on the Varsity Blues. Next home game with probably some big playoff seeding consequences as the Lancers, the resurgent Lancers under J.P. Cercelli, are in London on Saturday, October 19th.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great game with the Cercelli's. You know, with their obvious London connections, it's always an emotional and a competitive game when you get to play your alma mater, and again, that's going to be for quite a bit of context in the playoffs, especially for Windsor.
So Mullen tees it up following the penalty at the Western 50, drives it deep, and there's Campanaro looking to take it out. Campanaro stuck at the 5-yard line, but with 33 seconds left. Fairly academic.
Yeah, nice stick by number 48, Alex Tuck of Queens from Ottawa, Ontario. Looks like the series limping off a little bit after that tackle. Looks like he may have caught something in the knee. Sorry, go on, Tom.
I was going to say, is there any thought here that Steve Snyder thinks that if they stop the Mustangs, take a couple timeouts, they can get some points and point differential?
Hey,
right?
You know, will it be a case where every point's going to matter at the end of the season?
Right. Or, well, let's see, because Rancourt is going to take the victory formation. And he's just going to wait it out, so I guess not.
I guess not.
Yeah. So let's see if Snyder, and he's not going to take a timeout. So you just wonder at end of the season, you know, you think, well, maybe we can get a cheap 3.
Yep.
Or maybe the Mustangs concede a 2 and a high snap. We've seen, you know, both teams give up a high snap. But Steve Snyder is going to let this play out. And so Queens will go to 4-2. The Mustangs will go to 4-1 and in sole possession of third place. And that's going to do it as the homecoming game comes to a conclusion and Western puts on a dominant performance on the ground. 200-plus yards from this three-headed rushing attack. And the Mustangs, after a slow first quarter and just a safety to start the game, are able to tack on 39 points to the Gaels' 14. Queens scored with 11 seconds left in the first half and 35 seconds left in the game was the only scores. Other than that, the Mustangs, great job on defense with Queens starting their second-string quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Coach Gleason, the defensive coordinator for Western, will go in and take a look at that and say, hey, guys, we need to play 24 minutes of the first and a full 24 minutes of the second if we're going to have a chance to do what we want to do this year. So play a full 48 minutes. Don't let down in the last seconds or last minute of any of the halves, and just keep it as clean as possible.
So the Mustangs open the scoring with the safety, then a 13-yard field goal, and then here's Jerome Rancourt, the big short yardage quarterback from 1 yard out, is able to get in. Keon Edwards added a total from 7 yards out, bounces off the end and is into the end zone. So at the end of the first half, here was Logan Walton on a nice pass from Leo with 11 seconds left in the first half. That cut the lead to 20-7. Backflip, no penalty. And then it's Robertson on the out from Hillock. And Yazbek does his best Houdini impersonation, goes into the tackle, comes out into the end zone, and Yazbek able to get pay dirt. And then finally Leo to Falcone with about 35 seconds left. And that was the final major of the day. 39-14, Western over Queens. Coach, final thoughts. The Mustangs seem to have a nice bounce-back game following that loss down the road to Laurier and look to be in solid position for the final 3 games of the season.
definitely a better start and finish from Western, definitely compared to last week. You know, they were able to gain momentum in the second quarter and basically carry it through for the rest of the game. Queens put up their best effort they could, and I thought the young quarterback, Leo, did a great job in his first start of the season. Good things expected from him, but that's exactly the kind of comeback game Western needed after that loss to Laurier.
That's going to do it here for us on behalf of our statistician Jake Williams and on behalf of our crew at Mustangs TV. Thank you for joining us on this homecoming game. Western victorious 39-14, and you've been watching Mustangs football on OUA TV.